What's going on, you lovely people? It's your boy Roliver Queen. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing good. And as always, I am joined by lovely, scrumptious, delicious, flavorful as fuck, and well missed homeboy AJ. Please reintroduce yourself to the people because it's been a minute.
Hey, y'all, how's it been? I'm AJ. Like Rose said, been gone from the past few streams, but it's good to be back here chopping it up with the fellas. And yeah, we should have a good one tonight.
Word. So yeah, thank you guys for making it. Much appreciated. We have a great stream ahead. But before we really get into the shits, let's start off with some congratulations. So as of yesterday, we hit 1.2k subs. Thank you to everybody. I appreciate
Let's
y'all.
go. Let's go.
Put up the static video went crazy, and then y'all went and did. Y'all went and checked out some other shit on top of that, so I appreciate it. So thank you guys very much. We are just cruising along. I feel like once I hit 1,000, it just all the milestones after that just started coming faster. So thank you to everybody. And again, thank you to everybody who's been checking out the other content on top of that too. Whenever you guys check out the content that has to do with like me and the fellas, I appreciate that, man, because it's great that you guys like my content, but I also love the fact that you guys love the content that I do with the fellas, because I enjoy doing that content a lot more. So I know Quentin will get here eventually, but AJ, I want to say thank you for obviously being part of the journey. I appreciate all your contributions, brother. I appreciate Q's, I appreciate Stef's, all my guys over at Ultimate Countdown. Thank you all, man.
Hey, it's nothing, man. Glad to do it. Glad to be a part of it, man.
Or word. And apologies. Tonight was supposed to be the 1K sub stream, but I completely forgot that it was Superman weekend. So the 1K sub stream will happen at the end of the month, or early August. So I believe we're aiming for August 1st. So please mark that on your calendars. Best believe the word has gone out to damn near everybody, so it's gonna be a good stream, man. So looking forward to celebrating with you guys. But yeah, well, if Quentin was here, I would ask him his quick thoughts on Superman. But since he's not here, we will save that for later. So let's jump into the shits, man. Let's jump into the shits. So upon the release of Superman, which is out as of today, I'm seeing it tomorrow afternoon. AJ, when are you seeing it?
Monday, it looks like.
Monday, cool. So upon the release of Superman, we got a bunch of news about all the things that's been going on at WB and DC Studios over the past couple of years. And we found out, I don't know if this is really news because I feel like I heard about this like as it was happening back in the day. But yeah, we found out.
Headline.
Yeah, you heard about this too, right? Like back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently Nolan axed a Robin spinoff because I feel that, well, not feel, but apparently DC felt that his version of Batman was very successful, and obviously because this is a company and a business at the end of the day, they wanted to keep the money train going. So if you watch The Dark Knight Rises, which I believe everybody should have at this point, yeah, there was a red herring for Robin. And all it was just a red herring. But apparently DC wanted to continue on with that. But Nolan was like, fuck no. He said, it's one and done. There's no more coming out of me. No pause. And yeah, so he asked it. And I'm going to start off by saying I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Like I said before, I remember hearing about this when it was happening, because I don't know if it was a rumor. It was a rumor back then, but I guess now this rumor has legs to it. So I heard this rumor and I said, thank goodness, because I feel like the Dark Knight trilogy was such a well condensed and straightforward story that you didn't really need to do any more on top of that. You really did not need to do any more on top of that. So the fact that Nolan stuck to his guns, and he held that creative control and said no more, even though I think we would have enjoyed seeing what his take of Robin would have been. I respect the fuck out of that. But AJ, what are your thoughts, brother?
Couple things with it. What's not being reported in too many places, it wasn't going to be a film. It was going to be a show.
Mm.
I don't know if the audience remember or if you remember. Nolan and his brother used to be pretty heavily involved with HBO back in the day. This is before. This is like at the uh, early days of streaming and stuff. So it was still HBO really didn't have a dedicated streaming service. They had HBO Go and HBO Max, but they weren't really making original content. That was stuff that they were just airing on TV and then putting it on their own service as opposed to licensing it out to somebody.
Mm.
Um, there were discussions after the Dark. Everybody, like you said, you saw the Dark Knight Rises. The Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, he ends up being Robin, or named Robin anyway. And the story was potentially going to follow him and his how he takes to basically taking up the mantle, and that Bruce left him. I don't know if he would have been Batman or if he would have been taking on the character of Robin. I doubt that it was his actual name, but it was more than likely going to be an HBO production.
Mm.
But Nolan had, what he said for years now, like he's pretty much done with superhero stuff. He wouldn't go back and do it. He did. He was an EP on Man of Steel, but he wasn't in there on the daily grind with a lot of that stuff. So I don't think he wanted his world touched, especially by anybody else. That was his world. That was his baby, and he's told the story that he set out to tell. Like, I don't need a bunch of spin-offs and things of that nature going on in the world that I created. So that didn't happen, and then he and his brother turn around and they do Westworld. It was more so Jonathan Nolan, who kind of was straight headlining and strong arming forward Westworld. They've been working on that for a few years, so that ends up being their big HBO show. So like, yeah, I'm not going to do any more with Batman for you, but here you go. Here's another show, kind of trippy. Westworld was great for the first few seasons, by the way. But,
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Like so many things Warner's has done over the past decade, shit the bed toward the end, but it's neither here nor there. But yeah, this is, like I said, it's an old rumor. It's a recycled story. It was nice to get confirmation that this was actually true, and it was something that was in discussions and not just stuff we had heard about for years. So that information coming out, I feel like with Superman coming out is a big time for all these outlets to circle back to DC stories that they've been sitting on for years and trying to get some clarification or some confirmation on things. And it seems like that's what's happening, right? And like James Gunn, James Gunn is much more willing to talk and give truthful answers than any executive, not just in Hollywood, but business in general, that I've seen in a long time. That's what I like most about him. I don't, directing stuff. I'm a fan of his movies, but he's not like the greatest director. Like I think some people would try to, prop him up as one of the greats. I think he's a good director, but as an executive, yeah, I like most of the things that he's doing and what he's being forthcoming with the press. That's the thing that we really have not seen out of really anybody associated with WB in the past, and it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, I was just talking to Elvis about this. Like, I think personally sometimes James Gunn could shut the fuck up. Personally, because I think sometimes he talks a lot, and I think even he realized that he talks a lot. And I think that's why I saw a report a couple weeks ago where he said he's probably going to take a backseat from being on Twitter and Threads because he realizes that there's a lot of nonsense coming out of it. But when it comes to things like these, it makes sense because Peter Safran ain't gonna do it. David Zaslav, ain't nobody want to hear from him. So
not at all.
he has to be the guy. And also, let me just reply to a couple of these comments here. Derpy, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Hunter Iggy, thank you for coming through. Good to see you. My boy Patty, you wildin', brother. You wildin', but I love you for
Hey,
that. Cause
spoilers, brother, spoilers.
was it Hunter said Roliver Queen Justice League and Superman sequel has been announced. Yeah, we gonna get to all that later. We're gonna get to all that later. Best believe. And Tevye, what's going on? And Tev says, yo, I think the movie is a success. But yeah, I will just finish this up real quick, and then we will circle back to Quentin, who did see Superman, and he will give us his quick thoughts. But to close this, though, but actually, you know what? No, time out. Quentin, give us your thoughts on the Axe Robin spinoff, and then we could go back to your thoughts on Superman.
Wait, for the Robin spinoff?
Yeah. Nolan apparently axed it. Like
You
back when
mean
he,
like?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, back when he was doing the what is it, The Dark Knight.
man, I'm kind of glad they didn't do it because I mean, the whole setup was kind of stupid, to be honest. So I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of the decision to make John Evan Gordon, Dick Grayson, and all of that. That was kind of like I felt like that was Nolan just being under pressure to to include Robin, and he
Mm,
did it. He did it a very Christopher Nolan way. So I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. Honestly,
yeah,
I think that would have probably set us back even more a little bit.
yeah.
Personally,
Nah, I 100% agree because I feel like the story that he told, it, it it was almost as if you didn't need to do any more on top of that. You see what I'm saying? Because the way everything was kind of realistic, it didn't in that world. I can't see Batman running around with somebody else. I can't see it. Just like I can't see any supernatural shit happening in that world. Like even Bane, as crazy as this sounds, that portrayal of Bane felt like something you might run into in real life. Like somebody who's walking around with a crazy mask and a crazy accent, just terrorizing shit. Like it felt too real for them to do anything else that they wanted to do. Like I'm even surprised they pulled off Catwoman the way they did. I'm surprised about that. But yeah, I 100% agree. I don't see a future. I can't see a scenario where this would have worked. And I do piggyback the idea that yeah, maybe he was under pressure because I do believe at that time what, how many Avengers movies were we in when this came out?
Just one. Dark Knight Rises was 2012.
Oh, okay, so just one Avengers movie. Okay, all right.
Yeah. But please be clear that one Avengers movie. Damn, now I have to go back and I need to check my release dates. Did Dark Knight come out after? Did Dark Knight Rises come out after Avengers? Because if it came out before, I could. I mean, even if it did, the numbers that that movie pulled in would make Warner Brothers take notice. Like the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, they both made over a billion, but
Oof, Jesus.
Avengers kind of switched people's thinking as to what was possible with these superhero movies. Dark Knight Rises made 1.1 of first, and it came out on. I'm sorry, I'm looking this up live. So,
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're fine.
it came out July 16th. First Avengers.
Yeah, because I feel like what is it? I feel like it might have been the first or the second one that could have been out around that time because I feel like right after the Dark Knight Rises,
It was. It
that's
was. I know it was the first one. I know that much.
okay. Yeah, then yeah, it makes sense there. So that must have been enough for DC to be like, you know what, we kind of need to get the ball rolling. Yeah, that adds up. That 100% adds up. But yeah, to close, I still think it was a good idea to not do this.
Yeah, I
And
think it was around Avengers time. My fault, bro. I cut you off.
mhm.
Uh, I kind of I think it was Dark Knight, Man of Steel, and then Avengers came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Nah,
I
nah,
think those,
nah. I'm got it now. Avengers came out May 4th. Dark Knight came out in July. But yeah, Avengers did 1.5, the very first
Whoosh.
Avengers. So yeah, I could definitely see some pressure being put on him. Um, yeah, that was when Warner Brothers kind of got their dicks hard for a cinematic universe. So
Yeah.
that's when they decided to go all in with the DC stuff. Because Man of Steel, I mean, well, technically that Green Lantern film was supposed to be the start of the DCEU, but we know what happened there. Then Man of
it
Steel.
wasn't a
Greatest movie
bad
of all time.
movie.
Greatest
It
movie of
wasn't
all
a
time,
bad
yo.
movie. It was just the wrong villain. It wasn't a
Uh,
bad movie, bro. It was just, why the fuck do you start off with Parallax, bro?
yeah,
That
I
doesn't make
mean,
any fucking sense.
it was a lot of things wrong with that.
Because I don't
Which
have that
is
much of a problem with the suits, bro. I don't.
not a suit is fine. I think Hal was miscast. I never liked Ryan Reynolds as that choice.
No,
And
really?
then nah, I wasn't never a fan of him for
Me
that.
neither.
I
Me
mean, you
neither.
gotta not so much because of his Ryan Reynoldsness, even though that does get to be aggravating at times. Like if you were to cast him as that role now, his age, I'd be like, okay, fine. Ryan Reynolds was young when
He
that
was too
first Green
fresh.
Lantern movie came out. Like, yeah, I'm like, he need a little more seasoning on him.
Yeah.
Um, but then, yeah, the parallax for the very first film, yeah, that was where, especially when you had Mark Strong playing a fantastic Sinestro, like that.
Oh,
That's where you go with that. Um, and I'm
just bring the
super
whole
tangent
cast
with it,
back.
I mean, it's.
but
I mean, listen.
oh,
We'll get.
oh,
We'll
DC
get
is
to it
not going to
later.
deal with Ryan Reynolds again. Like
No,
he
no,
is the
no, no,
reason.
no.
He's the reason why it's taking him this long to get something going with Green Lantern again because he won't shut up about it.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? If they get this whole James Gunn universe right, we could get a Crisis movie, and yeah, we could see
When I get
him.
when I get to my review on Superman, I will speak about Green Lantern. Green Lantern's in a good place.
Okay, okay.
Green
You
Lantern's
know
in a good
what?
place.
I've heard from folks saying, I would keep telling folks, don't tell me spoilers, but they say Guy was great. Nathan Fillion was great as Guy, I should say.
You know what? Let's. All right. So
I'll leave it at just. I'll leave it
wait,
at
no,
that.
wait, no. You stay right there. We're
Go
we're,
ahead.
we're gonna go back. This is time for you to talk about Superman. Go ahead. So let me just tee it up real quick. So y'all, Quentin did see
Go for it.
Superman, and we're gonna let him give his quick, non-spoiler thoughts, and me and AJ at some point will probably come back when we see the movie. But yeah, Quentin, go ahead. Tell us your quick thoughts about Superman.
Okay, I'll say my positives first. I don't have many negatives, but I do
Okay,
have
okay.
a couple like maybe just nitpick things. Overall, I think this movie has all right. So to me personally, my favorite Superman is Christopher Reeves. Right, that's my Superman. I love Cavill, but Christopher Reeves is the guy who, to me, is the most Superman outside of the guy who did the animated series voice. Right,
Mm-hmm.
for me,
Right.
I think this movie is a great blend of everything Marvel gives you and what Zack Snyder was trying to do with Superman. But
Oh.
but I say that I caveat that by saying James Gunn, just like I feel about Mark Waid knowing his stuff, James Gunn knows his stuff. So
Oh. Hmm.
uh I wasn't the biggest fans of the Guardian Galaxy movies. Like, so every Guardian Galaxy movie I went into, I didn't want to like it, but then I walked out like, damn, I liked it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially like number two. Like number two hit me in the feels with like being a like dad and all that good shit, or
Mhm.
wanting to be a dad or whatever. But every movie I've kind of gone into, I've kind of gone into with a pessimistic attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one that I went into confident that I was gonna like it, and I left out I was gonna like it. Non-spoilerly, I think David Cornsweet is the best version of Clark Kent that we've gotten in a while.
Oh.
Um, that Kansas aspect is really played up. That country boy, there's a scene that when you see it, you're gonna be like, damn, he really is a Kansas boy, right? Like
Okay.
they have these small moments in the movie where like, okay, so you know how Marvel always had like the random quip. They're they're
Yeah.
almost like Family Guy like quip. Like remember that one time where that kind of thing. But like DC, this particular movie had those quips, but they kind of like they fit the character saying it. Like Mr. Terrific has a few like one-liners in the movie that fit his character. Like and now I don't have like a particular voice in my head for Mr. Terrific, if that makes sense, right? Like I don't know how that person sounds, right? Like I have an ideal, but so I saw a lot of Mr. Terrific's interesting. I'm getting off topic a little bit. I'm kind of ranting because I want to say stuff, but I don't want to spoil. Mr. Terrific, every scene he was in was great. Every scene he was in was great. Nathan Fallon is my Guy Gardner. I'll say it like that. I don't think anybody else could play Guy Gardner like he plays Guy Gardner at this point.
Okay.
Right? Nathan Fallon's Guy Gardner was fucking pretty. He was pretty funny, bro. He was pretty funny. It felt authentic. It didn't feel like he was trying. The bowl cut looks better in the movie. It looks more natural in the movie than all the promos. If that makes sense. Like by the time you've watched this movie, the bowl cut looks normal. I like the aspect. I saw something online that said it was a review. It was from a negative reviewer. But like the person was like, "This is not a Superman movie. It's a movie about a moment, like a day-to-day viewing POV of Superman's life and interactions, right?" And you saw how the world operates in this world full of meta-humans. I know James was saying that a lot during his press run, and it feels like that. There's like a moment. There's a scene where during the promo or when they released this photo, so I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. But it's like him with his boots and his purple in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, that scene's in the movie. It's part of a scene in the movie, but and it's coming off some heavy shit, right? It's like not to spoil nothing, but like that moment's following something that's like a big turning point in the movie, right? So he retreats back to his apartment, of course, and the scene is framed like he's talking to Lois, and in the background she's like, "Were you just helping them?" And it just casually Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific fighting this monster, right? And he's just chilling, having a conversation with Lois, because it's like, I got the vibe to where like it's super. Like I was talking to somebody that was a Man of Steel fan. They were like, "Well, Clark is, Clark could be anywhere." And I was like, well, I think Clark understands that he doesn't want to be everywhere, because if he's everywhere, it makes it seem like he's trying to rule and be a god and all that good stuff. He has friends that he has other people who are capable. So I allow people to do that so I can have a life, if that makes sense, right? It's not overtly said, but you kind of get the feeling during the conversations. Hopping off that, so I trap myself into something. Lois is really great. Perry's really great. Jimmy Olsen is that nigga. Excuse my French. Jimmy Olsen is that dude, right? Like Jimmy Olsen, that's a great casting for Jimmy Olsen. Like, I don't know, like, in the comics, they play Jimmy up like this goofy, lovable, like a low-key player, right? He always got a baddie next to him. That still remains the same. The Daily
You called
Planet
him me, by the way. What do you mean by that? What did you mean by that?
You'll see. You shall see. You gotta see. You'll know what it's. As soon as it happens, you'll be like, God damn it. As soon as it happens, you'll be like, because it's brought up like 3 or 4 times. You'll see it.
All right.
But because as soon as I saw it, like, oh, let me get this off real quick. But no, overall, I could sit here a lot. Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult did an awesome goddamn job, bro. The closing scene that you see out of Lex, you're gonna be a believer. If you're not a believer after that moment, then you don't have, you really don't, either A, you don't really like this shit, or B, like you just don't like Superman, but like, or you don't like Lex Luthor, because that, he is like, there's only been 3 Lex Luthors in my life that I like. That's Lex Luthor, the cartoon version, right? Like Unjustice, I mean Justice League Unlimited, Smallville, and Nicholas Hoult. And then like he gets, like if I say James Gunn gets Superman, Nicholas Hoult gets Lex Luthor.
Okay.
He gets Lex Luthor. Like the ending scene, like when everything's over, when the movie, like, you know, whatever, is a moment where, like, you know, he's wallowing in, the eventual, we all know how this movie's gonna end. You know, we all know superhero movies, they gotta win, right? So whatever. There's like it's a genuine moment in there where you understand who Lex is, and it's just with a look. It's just with a look. And it's like, it's nothing like the Lex that we got during Batman vs Superman. Nothing like it. This guy is this. I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it, but Lex Luthor was fucking great, bro. Like, if we can get 3 movies of Lex doing with Lex shit, I'm sold on the franchise. I don't care what he does, but as long as Lex is involved, we're in good spots. We're in a good place.
Okay.
Only negative. This quick takes. Hawkgirl looked really good. I think Hawkgirl had a really good moment towards the end, and it executed something that Man of Steel failed to do. But I mean, Man of Steel couldn't do it because it was a movie only with Superman in it. But I think it's a scene that happens where I feel like in the comics, I feel like the Justice League members, the ones that have more liberal takes on, killing and things like that, they do things to protect Clark's innocence, if that makes sense, right? Like that, like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I've heard of, like, I stop people from telling me, but I get where you're going with this, and I have the assumption that I guess she's the one who does things that Superman can't do. If that's what I'm getting from what I've heard from folks, I don't want to get into too much, but it keeps his hands clean.
I'll say yes and no. I'll say it's not so overtly. This is something I'm taking from the movie. It's not something that's like she does. Like she does do something, right? But if you listen to everything Clark has been saying, right? It, like the scene that everybody saw in the trailer, where it was like, I stopped the war. You know what I'm saying? Like, people were gonna die, right? Like that. If you take that sentiment, that's the biggest argument I've been having with people. Like, to understand this movie, you have to understand the naivety that comes with somebody who believes in the good in people. With that comes a certain bit of naivety, a little bit of childishness, right? It comes with that. And David Cornwell did a great job of portraying, like, yo, I am not as confident as you guys think I am. I fear, I love, I cry just like you guys. And that's my biggest power, is my human. I mean, this is something that we always heard in Superman stories and whatever. So like people who read the books know this conversation that he's having. But it's like he says it, like he shows it like multiple times. Some of it is played like a gag, right? Like, I don't think this is spoilery, but there's a moment in one of the fight scenes where he saves a squirrel, right? He saves a squirrel, but like you see the other members being they're less caring of the environment, right? They're just trying to get the job done. Because they're being led by Guy Gardner. You got to remember that shit. Yeah. These guys being led by Guy Gardner. All right? So, and with Mr. Terrific kind of like trying to reel him in every now and then. That's kind of like, you'll see it. It's a really good dynamic. So I could rant all day. But overall, I have no problem. Like, they weave in Peacemaker connection very well. I don't think that's a spoiler. They did already kind of say that. I don't know if I spoiled that for anybody. My bad if I did.
No,
but it's like a throwaway thing.
Okay.
I mean, his dad is in the movie, so they not his dad, but Flag's dad. So you already had the connection there.
Hey, yo, hold on. Talk about Aki with the comment real quick. Isabella Merced was hot as hot girl. I support all her rights and wrongs. Salute.
Hey man, I didn't know that. I had to look up. I had to look up how old she was because I felt kind of creepy at first, being like, "Damn, she kind of bad." But then she's by far and away adult age. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Hey, get a
Okay,
Hawk
so
Girl film going immediately, bro.
speaking of Hawk Girl, there's something that she does in the movie that's like right out of Young Justice League Unlimited, right out of it.
Woo,
That's all I'm gonna say.
You played this movie up, bro. I can't wait for tomorrow, dog.
Hey,
Woo.
I'm going to go. I saw this shit in 4DX, and I'm so pissed off that I bought 4DX tickets to see that bitch. But I will say I enjoyed that 4DX experience more than I enjoyed the 4DX experience for the Marvels. I don't know why.
We got to add Q to the Rich Club. He going.
Oh shit, that's
tickets.
right. That's right. Yup.
That shit was an accident, bro.
Yup.
But
I ain't never heard no shit like that. 40X?
Hey man, it's I don't recommend it because that shit was like a roller coaster.
I was gonna say I know your seat had to be bouncing all over the place.
Dog, the moments where he like Crypto jumping on him, you can feel the seats just boom,
Oh,
boom,
hell.
boom, boom. I'm like, dog, right? Like, oh, man, there's no real end credit scene, so I'll spoil that for you guys. I'll save you guys 5 minutes.
So don't stick to that. Don't wait for the
I
end.
thought it was like 2 of them.
Okay, so there is a pre-credit scene, right? I can't say nothing about that because that's gonna spoil like 2 things. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can wait for the mid-credit scene. It's just a photo that we've already seen with him sitting with Crypto. That's all it is.
Okay.
It's just that. You saw it. You saw it in the promotionary art. That's all the promotionary stuff.
Okay. All right.
But overall, now I said the positives. My only negatives, like I said, one negative was I kind of was taken back from Mr. Terrific's like the delivery. So I don't know. At first because I saw Taz say something about
They
how
on
he
his
talks,
ass.
right?
Yeah,
But
they on his ass.
Taz is my dude, but you only can take some of Taz like critiques on DC so serious. Because we all know, he getting that, that Marvel check. He'll never admit it, but I'm just playing Taz if you're listening to this, dog.
Mm-hmm.
But Taz said something about how he spoke. And people on his ass about, black people can be intelligent and speak and still speak, in ebonics basically, or slang or whatever. Not that that's how he talked at all. But I want to say something. I don't know if that's spoiled. Like I don't want to say
no. If you think it's gonna spoil, don't say it, bro. I got a couple hours.
I don't know. Okay, I'll say it like this. Do y'all think if I gave you an example of who he sounds like, is that spoiling it for you?
No.
Because if it's
just because I've heard his voice already in a couple
and I heard it too in the clip.
But okay, so it doesn't really, because it was a one-liner, but I'm talking about when he's talking, like he got on somebody's ass, right? Like in the movie, right? Like it's certain things like he'll explain like who he is. He sounds like Robert Downey Jr. of Tropic Thunder. That's all I'll say.
Bruh, I had that same thought. I think I know the line you talk about because it is in a trailer or an online spot. Something. I had that thought too when I heard that.
So when you're hearing him deliver serious shit, right? It's only like in my head. I go back to we were slaves for 500 years. You know what I'm saying? It takes me back to that. You're right. So, but then again, there's a moment where he delivers a line where I'm like, motherfucker. Well, maybe that's how Mr. Terrific motherfucking talks, because he said something like, yeah, because I'm the mother. Basically, said I'm motherfucking Mr. Terrific, basically, right? Something of that lines, right? But the way he delivered, I was like, well, you know what? Maybe, goddamn it, Robert Downey Jr. is the voice of goddamn Mr. Terrific. I don't fucking know, but it worked. So like I said, there's a lot of things that I think I was telling somebody this earlier. We have been conditioned to see the oversaturated DC universe stuff. Mm-hmm. Once you get past that, this ain't Henry Cavill in them, it should be smooth sailing, bro. Because the post-credit scene, like Crypto, even makes sense. Like, it's a throwaway line Clark had talking about Crypto, and I didn't catch it. Like, I caught it, but I didn't catch what they were teeing up for the end of the movie. And I was like, fuck. All right, damn it. I didn't see it coming. But, like, it's a really, so all the good. That's my positives. My negatives are, I think Ma and Pa Kent were played up like country bumpkins a little too much.
Okay.
But I will say, like I would say, like really, that's really for Ma Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Pa Kent was pretty good, right? Ma Kent, she had a moment like she said something like, "Yeah, something's on the box for you," and I was like, "The TV? I mean, they not that old, bro. Like they don't. She's not
Yeah.
referencing TVs as
That's
boxes."
like that. That I've been able to tell by the trailers. Like the trailer looked good. I think it looked good. I do think I'm not going to be the biggest fan of Ma and Pa Kent in this film for a few reasons. But what you telling me is, yeah, like Ma Kent is a city girl. I don't know if people like Smallville played it up more than anybody, but she's
Mm.
from Metropolis, bro. Like she's not a like
But
if
yeah,
you telling me
you wouldn't know in this
Jonathan's
movie.
a country bumpkin, I could believe it. But Ma Kent, like, no, she was like the it girl in apparently in her youth in Metropolis, and then she meets Jonathan Kent and falls in love with him, and yeah, they get married and she moves to
So
Smallville. She didn't start out that way.
I can tell you this right now. That's not the Martha Kent not Martha Kent that you got.
Mm.
Now there's a moment like so when I was thinking this, so like remember I told you there's a moment where like you're gonna know like this is Clark Kent truly is an American Midwestern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Midwesterner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment that they always had the Pa Kent and Clark conversation, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
one of the tipping points in the movie is the point of this the catalyst of this conversation, and I think his conversation with Clark is way better than Buddy from Man of Steel. I think
Okay.
Mm.
I think this Pa Kent, if I'm comparing Pa Kents, I like this Pa Kent more than that Pa Kent.
Okay.
He
Right.
just
Okay.
that Pa Kent, the Pa Kent from Zack Snyder, just kind of looks like the Pa Kent I want to look at.
Yeah,
That
but
makes
he
sense.
Yeah.
don't act like
That,
it. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't really give me Pa Kent. But that warmth, that love, parents' love, they definitely resonate with it. It definitely is shown. Even Ma Kent, I will say, like after you get through her couple scenes, it's not that bad. But
Okay.
immediately I was kind of like, damn, they kind of. I know they in Kansas, but goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Now,
Right.
all right, I know we gotta get on because I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to drop for like 5 minutes, and I'm gonna get
Mm-hmm.
back on. So I gotta walk into a store for something.
No problem. No
Um,
problem.
but my negatives would be I agree with somebody's take. They said we needed more Daily Planet. The Daily Planet. If I hope the next movie, the viewpoint is from the Daily Planet rather than the outside world.
Okay. 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 Oh, you
Uh,
cutting in and out, brother.
I think that really interesting. I might, I don't know.
Hop off and come back on. All right. Hold on. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, that was So far, it sounds like the movie's in good hands. That's what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I'm excited.
I'm hearing from people I trust that, and you know, he's another one of them. That it's a good time. It's a good Superman film. It's what the Superman kind of needs right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I make no secret about it. I'm a fan of I'm a fan of Man of Steel. I like what Zach did as well, but it's a very different take on Superman,
Yeah.
and you know, it didn't resonate with as much of the audience as they wanted it to. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're getting sounds like a more traditionalist take, a more Silver Age. I'm hearing it's very Silver Age. It's like they mashed up Silver Age Superman with a lot of Smallville stuff.
Oh, that's
And
good. Yeah.
right, exactly. So if that's the type of stuff that I'm hearing, I'm like, okay, we're probably in good hands.
Yeah.
And
No. Yeah. Listen, I'm a big fan of Smallville. I'm not too familiar with the Silver Age stuff, but I feel like I'm more familiar with the Zack Snyder stuff because that's most of the Superman content like in the movies that I've consumed. I'll say here I still have yet to watch the OG Superman movies. I know.
gotta watch it, brother. Gotta watch it.
Yeah, I know. I owe myself
Like
that.
everybody's gonna say Superman 2 is the best one. It's good, but the original Superman 78, you got to see that. You will watch that and you will see the blueprint for every superhero movie. Like they
Oh,
all take something from Superman, the original in '78.
oh, okay. Say less than yeah. So I definitely gotta do that at some point. But yeah, so but overall, so far, I'm hearing good things. The energy on the timeline is very positive. Like at first, like I'll be honest, I'm so skeptical about the timeline because it
Mhm.
feels like every single time a superhero movie comes out, it's a wave of positivity, and then when the actual release happens, it's the complete opposite. I haven't
Yeah,
seen that here. I haven't seen that
yeah,
here at all.
yeah. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was super paranoid about going into the this opening weekend and the reactions and stuff. Not that I thought it was gonna be bad. I had PTSD from DCEU days.
Yeah,
I remember how positive them first reactions were to a lot of them movies, and then people actually went. The general public got into them, seeing them, and the whole vibe would change. And a lot of even critics would go back and change their opinion on it. And I'm like, really? So were you bullshitting then, or are you bullshitting now? Because I remember the Man of Steel premiere. They live streamed it.
oh my gosh.
You had critics um, giving like glowing social media reviews, right? But then the actual written reviews, articles, YouTube videos, whatever, hit a couple days later, and they were like just trashing the movie. And I'm not even talking about like how they do now, like how studios they've gotten hit to the review game, so they'll kind of curate what you can and can't say in those first reactions. This is before really that behavior of studios has happened because of the reaction to a lot of DC stuff. People started saying like, "Ooh, we can't have this happen." So other studios started looking at that like, "Yeah, we gonna rein in what we allow these folks to say." That's why you starting to get you can get social media reactions, but your reviewers
Yeah,
can't come until the day that the film opens and whatnot. So I've had PTSD about anything DC related for a while, but you know, it seems to be that this is it's a crowd pleaser.
yep.
They're saying, it's a for-profit film. You can take boys, girls, parents, elderly, kids, and they saying it's a family film. So,
Oh, that's what you say. Family is you good. You good.
yeah,
You
Nah, it
exactly.
good.
really is though. It really is
Yeah,
though.
you
Like
good.
you leave that movie feeling good, bro.
Okay,
Like
okay.
it really has that feeling, especially the score. I always feel kind of empowered leaving superhero movies in a weird way. I don't know why,
Right.
but maybe I'm weird like that. But nah, you really feel like, man, with everything that we in our everyday life, with like the actual evil that gets people get away with, right? The justice that goes undone,
Mm-hmm.
that's never, you know what I'm saying, never gotten. Um, it was it was a nice it was a nice vibe. Another positive before I get to the negatives, I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna do this. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah,
The only
because we got it. Because I gotta go to sleep soon. Because I gotta wake up early to go watch this movie. So we're not gonna stay too long tonight.
all right. So the other positive would be, fuck. I just lost my train of thought. Negative, more Daily Planet. Right. The movie maybe could have been a little bit longer,
How long is it?
and
It's like
it's
two
about
hours and nine
it's
minutes.
2 hours, but like
I'm hearing
30.
it fly.
But yeah, it's like it's a really fast paced movie. Like somebody said, it reads like a comic book. It kind of does. It reads like an action comic. It really does. Like,
Mmm.
so like, you know how like, no, the Josh Williamson stuff isn't like heavy.
Yeah.
Like it's not a hard read. Like it's a lot going on, but it's not a hard like reading type of thing. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
Scott Snyder or Tom King where it's wordy as fuck, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it feels, right? Like it feels like I ain't gonna lie, 3D with the 3D glasses on, the 3D shit made it kind of look live too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yo,
Now,
look at how rich this nigga is, bruh.
man,
Yo,
man,
what?
I'm
How
not the
much you
rich one
spend
on
on
the
your
spot.
ticket? No. How much you spend on the tickets, bro?
Both tickets were like, so me and my homie went. There's like $30 a piece.
All right,
But
see?
a
See?
normal ticket, but a normal ticket is like 22, 26.
Doesn't matter. You spent $30 on tickets each. That's rich.
Oh, no, he paid for his ticket. He paid for his ticket. Right?
Still, $30 is that's rich, bro. I would even do that shit.
I don't go to the movies very often, so I didn't get to go see the ballerina, so I don't mind. I'll spend another. So I will say I won't be spending that kind of money on Fantastic Four, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I wrap it up by saying it's a solid. Out of all my favorite Superman movies, it's like number 1 or 2. Like just overall, bro. Like, and I don't think I'm a prisoner of the moment. I don't think I'm a prisoner of the moment because I really looking forward to watching it again. If that makes sense. Like the same way I kind of left Sinners and the way I wanted to, like, the enthusiasm you got to want to support it, so to say. That's kind of how you feel leaving it. Like, you want to see more Guy. You want to see more Mr. Terrific. You want to see how this world interacts. Because, like I said, he did a really good job in small moments. Blink and you miss it moments that really tell you the story of who Clark Kent and Superman is. Right? And if you're talking to people who understand that Clark is Superman and not the opposite way around, then this movie, you're gonna appreciate this movie. Just like same way you appreciate Dark Knight. I mean, the Batman.
Yo, Mark said, I don't want to see no more Guy. Yo, listen, if you know Mark don't like this nigga Guy, bro. He hates Guy. So
I don't like him like that, but I fuck with Guy.
I was gonna say that should say how good Nathan Fillion did with Guy, because the niggas who say Guy Gardner is their favorite Lantern, I always think something is off with them. I'm like, why, dog? Like, for what?
Of all the Lanterns, that's who you picked. That's who you landed on.
Exactly, right. So for niggas is coming out and being like, yo, I was wrong about Nathan in his role. Like, this is the best Guy Gardner has ever been. I'm like, all right, that like, people talking about Mr. Terrific and how great he is and him possibly getting a spinoff. Nigga, I'm kind of hyped to see Guy now, because I'm like, I've hated this nigga for years, and everybody talking about how
it's Guy, bro, and it's because you feel that way. You're gonna be like, because you feel that way about Guy, and all of us who read comics, who like really read this shit, we all know everybody hates Guy, right? Exactly. As a Batman fan, I already don't fuck with Guy off the principle, right? Just off the principle. But it's like the same way like I felt when I was reading like the Red Lantern series when he became the Red Lantern, and like you got more into Guy's person. Exactly. And then like you got to know why he's like that, right? Yeah. Man, everything that makes Guy, the reasons behind it, like now that we know from reading comics, it's there, bro. The insecurity, and I mask it with bravado. It's all there, bro. Like that moment that you saw in the trailer with him and Superman, dog, he landed that shit. It was great, and it was the typical. It felt like Brave and the Bold Guy Gardner.
Ooh.
Okay,
yeah. It felt like that Guy Gardner.
All right.
Now
we cooking. Now we cooking.
And like that's the vibe of the whole fucking movie. If I'm being honest, like it had that vibe, like Metamorpho. Oh, I land on my
last one, bro. Last one. We gotta move on.
I kind of fucking hated Metamorpho. I kind of hated.
I wondered if something was going on with him, just because I've heard nobody talking about it.
Because it's who you, because like, okay, so I see Metamorpho as Indiana Jones for DC Comics. That's how I see him, right? But that's not what I got. I got a very vigilante peacemaker type of Metamorpho. This Metamorpho fit in the recent Metamorpho miniseries. That makes sense. This Metamorpho fit, right? Because it's the same dude who played Zaz on Gotham. So it's like, now David Cornsweet, the scenes they're in, him and Mr. Terrific, like they all bounce off each other really well. But Lex Luthor, oh shit, all right, I could talk about the movie all fucking day. But that scene with Metamorpho is lead to one of the best scenes in the fucking movie though, with Lex.
Okay.
And it cements that James Gunn is gonna let villains be villains. I'll say that and I'll leave it like that. That's my last thing I'll say.
Oh, okay. Say less. You said villains be villains? Okay, good.
I'll leave it at that.
We need more.
We
of that.
need that. We need that.
There's gonna be a moment you're gonna be so proud that somebody got killed. You're gonna be so proud that you saw it and be like, I was like, fucking right. And I was like, God damn it, that's Lex Luthor, right? That's Lex Luthor. And there's a one-liner he says to Clark as he walks off, right? And then you get that hint of like, damn, is he finna break bad? Like, is Clark finna lose his shit? Dog, there's a few moments where Lex has tested his gangster, bro.
Oh,
all right, I'm done. Let's go back.
All good. Well, see, y'all, we heard it here first, y'all. If you haven't seen Superman yet, we just gave you like damn near a half-hour fucking review. So, listen, I'm about to chop this shit up and put it out as a separate video, alright? Listen, Quentin done gave y'all the facts. So, I'm already excited. I'm gonna go see this shit at 1 p.m. tomorrow for free at IMAX. Shout out to my Connect. And yeah, AJ's about to see it on Monday, so I can't wait to come back.
I can't wait to see you guys' opinion of it, bro.
I can't wait. And also a quick light plug. If you've been a long time viewer on the channel, you already know my homie Elvis. He's been on here a couple of times. I will be on his channel on Sunday night talking about Superman. So I'll put up a post on that. So please, I'll go show us some love there. But you know, moving on. Like I said, this movie brought a whole bunch of other news to us, and also I just want to say, Quentin, thank you very much for the review, by the way. But yeah, this movie brought on a whole bunch of other news. So we gonna move on and talk about our homie, our dog, David Zaslav. Alright?
Zaz the ass, bro.
Zaz the man.
So listen, Streets is saying, well, Streets, not really the Streets, but this report is saying that Zaslav he pretty much said fuck no to the Black Superman movie because apparently it was quote unquote too woke. Now, here's my thing. Here's my thing, all right? So, I get it. Mr. Zaslav is bad, quote unquote. He bad. But
it wasn't bad this time.
But listen, I don't know if I really believe this. Because it says it's from other people. First I heard reportedly, then I heard from other people. So, all this tells me is just like, this could be feeding into the existing narrative about Zaslav, and this may or may not have happened. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what this brother's politics is. I never heard this nigga speak a day in my life. So
Zaslav,
hey,
Zaz will cozy up to whoever's in power at the time. Like when Biden was in office, he was trying to get in his ear because he's trying to get another market. So. Now that Trump in office, he been cozying up with Trump. Like,
not to take us off the topic, but did y'all see Mark's last comment? Not the Lex comment, but the one before that.
Hold on, let me see.
I hate his hair.
Oh yeah. I'll put it up. Oh man, but yeah. So no, you were saying, AJ.
Oh, just that you were saying you don't know Zaslav's politics. I'm like. Zaslav's politics is whoever gonna get him the most money is gonna up his stock options at Warner Brothers. And so, like I said, when Biden was in office, he was cozying up to him. Trump in office, now he kind of not dick riding, but he cozying up to him too. Because, like I said, they're trying to push through a merger or, you know.
Well, if he shot Kiss Up to Trump, this wasn't a movie for it because there's a lot of there's plenty of meta commentary there.
Yeah, because
but I will say it's done right. That's the last thing I'll say. It is done. It is done overtly, not over the ham. It's not ham-fisted. They shoehorn it in there where it logically makes sense from a Superman like perspective. Go ahead.
You mean like the immigrant stuff?
It was written before he got back in there. Now,
I'll say like there's commentary. There's a lot of like comments like bots You know,
Yeah.
some like, there's a word like Lex uses the word groomer in the terms of talking about Superman. There's a lot of different buzz terms in there, but
Yeah.
they're not done in the way that
Like
certain
shoved
people
in your
talk about.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really if you're not looking for that shit, like you're not trying to look for it, you
Hmm.
won't really recognize it. But us being on Twitter and knowing how people are and what they're looking for to complain about,
Yeah.
it hits you like a rock. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
Okay.
but for the most part, it's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah. So like I said, I didn't know about this brother's politics, and like I said, I don't know much about Zaslav. Period. So that's why, like, it's very funny the timing of when this came out also too. So yeah, I kind of do agree with Y Arc. Like, this may be fake, and you know it's good to go in with the algorithm. You know, I don't know if I 100% believe that Zaslav said this,
Like
but
I believe it got axed. I don't know if that's the
yeah,
reason. Like you
exactly.
got to remember this was under the previous regime. The damn, who was my man who came in after they got rid of Sujihara, but before Zaz, like the guy who was with AT&T when AT&T bought Warner Brothers. I can't even
Yeah,
remember his name right now. Like he's the one that greenlit it. And yeah, if you hire Coates, it's gonna be a certain level of quote unquote wokeness to it. If
mm-hmm.
you're hiring him to write the story, I mean, you can't not have that. But I don't know that that's necessarily the reason he got rid of it. Zaslav is just getting rid of stuff from the old regime because they want stuff. They want their wins, the wins that DC has, to be stuff that they came up with, so nobody else can get the credit,
Yeah.
right? Like Joker coming in and doing what it did. Like I mean, he was trying to ride the high off of that. Like, yeah, see, this is what the new direction of DC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they were like, yeah, but bro, this film been in the works since before you even got here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he greenlit the sequel and let them do whatever, which was
Ugh,
not the
oof.
best idea. And you see what happened there. Um, it came out. I don't know if you were gonna bring that up and talk about it, but he had conversations with The Rock about
Yeah.
what direction they were going to take DC, and then Black Adam flopped, and he just
He
got rid of them.
pieced.
Is like anything that was approved before he got there, they were like, nah. Some of the stuff that he approved himself has been like, you know what, nah. Um, like what was it? Sergeant Rock. That may or may not be happening.
Yeah.
We
And
Blue Blue
and also
Beetle.
too, this may or may not even be happening still because it says it could
Yeah,
be retooled
yeah.
under gun.
Try to do it like an Elseworld film.
Yeah.
Um,
and
I
we do not need this fucking movie. I said it then. I'll say it now. This is probably his biggest win that he's had being in power at Warner Brothers. No,
Well,
I
just
mean,
till this weekend's over,
well,
by the way, because this is gonna be Superman gonna
Oh
be a
well,
big
yeah,
win
this.
for him.
Oh yeah, well that too. But that
yeah,
goes without saying.
but like here's the thing though, like I could see this working if it's retooled properly. Like, I mean,
I,
because who's to say Kate has to stay attached to it? I mean, did it?
why
Wait,
do
hold on,
this
time out.
movie?
Wait, time out. Hold on. Didn't this get announced with the slew of stuff that James Gunn announced? Like, remember that big presentation he did? Wasn't that in there?
I think
He
that was
mentioned
the
he mentioned
presentation
it, but
before. I
but
think.
but it was still a holdover from the last regime. Yeah. James did mention it, like, hey, stuff that we're bringing forward from the old guys was going to continue. Like with some stuff, I don't know if you
Like
remember,
Blue
they were trying
Beetle.
to have their cake and eat it. Right, but Blue Beetle, even though nobody when they saw it in theaters, when they got the home release and stuff, well, we're like, hey, this shit is actually really good. So we're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, we're gonna give him an animated series. We're gonna throw him in some movies here and there. So he's gonna stick around. A lot of other stuff. I really do think Black Adam and the Flash were the last straw for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people being able to stick around. Like you're keeping Momoa, but he's not gonna be Aquaman. He's probably gonna be so prosthetic heavy. You're not even gonna be able to two and two together unless you really pay attention to this shit. And that's the same guy who was playing Aquaman. So
Yeah.
I think after a while, Zaslav just got like, you know what? I tried to placate the fans of this universe and stuff, but it's just not working. So let's just go ahead and get rid of all of this.
Yeah.
I really think that's where he is.
Yeah, and I don't blame him because I'm sorry, like with the slew of past movies and how they flop, this movie would have got eviscerated, man. Like, listen, I don't know too much stuff from Coates, so I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert, but I'm just saying, man, like if this movie flopped, the last thing niggas want to see, is an alleged civil rights whatever Superman movie. I'm sorry.
Hold that thought. I'm about to slam dunk what you're about to say real quick because I gotta say it before I lose it.
Go ahead.
I believe this movie's in the works. I don't believe that was the story pretense of it. It's taking place in slavery and moving, working its way through it. Because if you make that fucking movie about Val Zod, why not just do fucking Icon?
Well,
And we know why. But
I was gonna say that brings up the milestone stuff.
And that goes to show what I was telling Carter the other day on the timeline. Whereas I dig that they love all that 90s shit, but at some point the brain trust whoever is in control of giving the go, that shit needs to be reworked because they are outdated and they are out of touch. That's why Static flopped, because they thought just attaching that shit to Black Lives Matter was gonna work. Let's go ahead and be real about that shit. They thought they could have an easy layup by shoehorning that shit in, and that shit flopped. You thought you could put some Boondocks type of art on Static Shock and still get the same shit. So I fuck with Dan Pre's art. Don't get me wrong. I'm indifferent about Ayala. I don't dislike her work or their work. I don't hate their work. But you don't put some ifs on something like Static. You put your actual good proven team on there. And to the point, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna have a Superman fucking movie that takes place during slavery, and you're gonna have Tahiti Coach write it, why would I not? If I heard this and I'm Milestone, I'm the brain trust of Milestone, and I get wind of this shit.
I would have held my shit too. I would have held it too.
You're just doing an Icon movie.
But and you know, I ain't gonna get too heavy into it on this broadcast, but that does bring me back to what I was telling y'all in the group chat about, you know, things that behind the scenes, like you said, we know what's happening at Milestone, and that I don't think a break will ever happen, but I do think DC is looking at it like, all right, y'all not willing to meet us halfway. We got all these black characters that we really aren't investing in heavily enough we own. I think they're gonna shift their focus there.
Like I said in the last video, man, there is too much good stock that is going to waste for everybody to be worried about Milestone. Yeah. I'm sorry, I understand people love Milestone, but we're going to also keep it a fat stack here too. And we will bring it back to this whole Zaslav thing. We're going to keep it a fat stack. The general public, they have an attachment to Static, but it is not from the OG Milestone comics. They have Static Shock in their minds.
Yeah.
And let's keep it a fuck. Half it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I love a lot of Milestone characters, but it's not that influential amount of characters over there outside the big four. And I'm stretching it when I say four because I'm including Zombie in there. But after you get past Icon and Rocket, Static, Hardware, I mean, are we really?
That's it.
That's the top.
That's it.
When you really think about stuff, but I mean, like I said, I ain't gonna get too deep because I'm trying to be respectful. But there is something, and you know, Gunn danced around it as best he could. There is one thing in particular that holds up the the Milestone universe going forward, and even being greater integrated with DC. Like everybody knows what it is. The creatives, they dance around it when they talk about it on the timeline and stuff. And hey, that that the reason that the holdup happens, it's not out of maliciousness. It's not just, oh, I just don't want any milestone happening. Like the people see themselves as protecting that brand, and that's their right.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, and I think we're approaching that point very fast, DC is going to start saying, okay, hey, we've tried to work with you, we've tried to meet you halfway. It's a give and take relationship. You got to be willing to give some, and if you're not, we're just going to turn our attention to our black characters that we have ownership for. Like, we don't have to wait for permission to do something with them. We don't. I ain't even gonna get into the money issue of it.
And listen, and you know what? The best way to do it is to green light this fucking Tanahashi Coates civil rights era Superman movie. You know what? Fuck what I said. Zaz Live, do it.
I mean, we're already hearing talks from Gunn coming out of Superman. The opening weekend hadn't even ended yet. He like, yeah, I'm considering a Mr. Terrific series. Like,
good.
Like, come on, dog. That's what minus the suit. That's a lot of ways he can be your hardware of the universe, dog. Like, they're gonna look at it and say, hey, man, like, all right, if y'all not willing to make some move and shake on this milestone stuff, we got a whole plethora of black and brown characters that we can get involved in this universe, and I think that point is fast approaching.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, Zaz Live, make it happen, bro. Listen, I'll say this right now. If Zaz Live says fuck this, whatever the fuck is going on with this Black Superman movie, and he green lights a Mr. Terrific movie and it hits, and now Mr. Terrific is a household name. You know what, Zaz Live? I never had beef for him to begin with because I don't know the nigga like that. But he good in my book. After he good in my book, bro. He good.
No, I guarantee you. I don't know if the current series gets extended, but I guarantee you, you're gonna get at least another mini out of Mr. Terrific after this film. You're probably gonna get another Hawk Girl mini, hopefully with another writer. Metamorpho. I'm not sure. I would expect Guy to start getting some more content. I think he did just have an arc in Green Lanterns, but Green Lantern Corps, excuse me. But yeah, man. I think these characters are gonna start getting more shine. DC is in, for all intents and purposes, look like they're gonna be in a great place moving forward, coming out of this weekend. Then you got to remember, Peacemaker starts in August. We already know Hawk Girl is in that. We already know Guy Gardner is in that. And I'm not including Guy, obviously, and like I say, get black and brown characters, but I'm just saying these are characters who people are going to have an interest in going forward, and we're taking the steps to keep them in the public eye after we've already gotten them there. Matter of fact, Comic-Con is coming up in a couple weeks. Do not be surprised if we get some announcements for at least some of these characters.
Hell yeah.
Moving forward.
Hey, so. But all of them have all had miniseries of recent. Not Guy.
Not Guy, but within the past year, Hawk Girl, Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific. Like, I expect that to continue. I really do.
I do think in Mr. Terrific sales, that project could get greenlit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If the reception to him continues to be positive, and the miniseries can sell the way we've been all trying to help it push the sale, I think you're gonna get that Mr. Terrific miniseries or a little small presentation or whatever.
But what about Val Zod though? So we just gonna say fuck Val Zod? We just gonna say fuck Calvin Ellis?
I'm not saying fuck him. I'm saying it's to be determined right now. I need more information about if this is gonna move forward or not. You
can't do Calvin Ellis right now because Trump's in office, bro. They're not gonna green like that. because it got to be Obama. That's who Calvin Ellis is. You know what I'm saying? So like, for the most part,
I
I
don't
just
know,
don't.
man.
Because
I just want to. I want to believe in the good in Zaslav, man. I just want to believe in the good, and
this is a
also,
rare. This is it's two dubs for him, bro.
I'm gonna say it right here too. You know, I'm not mad at him for canceling them slow movies. I've been waiting for a moment to say this. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it here. Fuck it. All right, y'all. Listen, I know everybody was upset when they canceled Batgirl, Scooby Dooby Doo, and whatever the fuck else. All right, but we gonna keep it a fat stack here. Everybody was pretending like that canceled Batgirl movie was about to do billions or millions of dollars.
I mean, hell, it was only
It
going to be
was,
streaming anyway.
it was, bro. It was under the last regime, which also wasn't the best. So the fact that it was Batgirl, it was Leslie Grace, it was all this shit, and then y'all heard it was canceled. Everybody made this big stink and that. Like, bro, listen, I'm sorry. He was right to ask. He was right to get rid of it. He was right. He was right. At that time, they were, bro. At that time, they were in the shitter. They were in the shitter. He saw red. Why would you be mad at him for that?
The only reason I'll kick his back in for that is because you had already spent the money, and the write-off you're going to get isn't going to cover that whole amount. So you're taking a loss somewhere. But is that loss, is that worse than any potential bad press you would have gotten if the movie wasn't good? I don't know. That's something, you know, he and his other business partners have to weigh.
So for Batgirl, I'm not happy. Okay, so on one level, I wanted to see it. I heard Brandon Fraser as Killer Moth did a really, really awesome job.
Yeah,
that's the one biggest thing I wanted to really see. Brandon Fraser have a renaissance, right? I wanted to see him play a villain. It would have been interesting. I'm happy they scrapped the movie because it didn't make no fucking sense, right? The movie was dumb where it landed in the universe. Like,
I mean, but that's what Gunn was talking about when he came on. He was like, "Look, part of the problem with DC is we're handing movies and series to anybody who shows up on Warner Brothers Studio and has even the faintest idea to do something." He's like, "There's no plan for any of this stuff." He's like,
until the script is good.
Yeah, we're not going to greenlight anything. But he said it. He was like, "Yo, we're handing out characters like party favors to whatever hot director comes into our offices, and we're not having an overarching plan for anything. Like, yeah, you're going to get some stuff some stuff somebody, audiences really like, and it did good.
Like, that movie was so weird. It had. Oh, my bad. I'm bad.
No, you good.
My bad, Jamie. Go ahead. It just didn't make no fucking sense, bro. Like, it had. She was Black Batgirl, right? So that means Jeremy Wright had to be Jim Gordon, but J.K. Simmons was in the movie.
Yeah.
And it would have to be Ben Affleck's Batman, but it was Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot how much of a headache that was.
And it was going to lead to Batman Beyond. That's the only reason why I wanted to see it, because I was like, well, if we get past this bullshit, I'll get to a futuristic Batman. I guess that's what's going to happen. But I mean, I think that's realistically we were done a favor.
Yeah.
We were done a favor. Like sometimes those. Okay, so I don't always believe in executives, but sometimes they get it right.
Yeah.
Like, do I think the Looney Tune movie they canceled was a good idea? No, I think that movie's gonna be really, really good. I think that movie would have been
somebody bought it.
Off that dude.
Oh yeah, I think Amazon did, right?
It was
somebody. I don't know if they put that out yet. Because it's two movies Warner's canceled, but they ended up selling to somebody else. One was the Looney Tune shit. Did Scooby Doo get sold, or was it something else?
I don't think Scooby Doo got sold. I remember it was Looney Tunes.
I know the Acme one got. I know the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme got bought. That's the one I wanted to see, because that one looked actually like it was actually gonna be funny. But like man, like that's the one thing about DC as well. Like, we're getting to that point like Marvel did, where they kept giving away their shit. Like, why the fuck am I going to Amazon and seeing Justice League Action and that other the Cape Crusader cartoon series? Like, why is it not on Max? Why does Max keep changing their fucking name?
No, we went in a fucking circle. We're back at HBO
bro,
Max.
bro.
Like, it's like I could do a better job, bro. You give me 2 weeks of training, bro. I could run that studio better, bro. Give me 2 weeks to learn the ropes, my nigga. I gotta get it together, dog. Cause what?
Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
So, I don't know, man.
Nah,
like,
yo.
I trust Gunn, bro. I coming out that movie, I trust Gunn's vision, bro.
Listen, to close, hey, you know what? Zaslav, you were right to cut this shit off, bro.
Real shit.
You were right, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like everybody else. Like, nah, bro. This is the one time because, listen, I'll say this.
Gotta give him his flowers, because he got it right.
If DC at the time was doing good, you know, like, you know, they were just giving us banger after banger after banger, and then cool, this came down the pipeline and he said no, I was like, you know what, wait, hold on, bro, we need to have a conversation. But nah, it wasn't. And listen, you could be objective and say, yes, did we like some of the shit that came out? Yes. But if we're talking financially and critically, no.
It was too inconsistent, man.
So again, so the fact that he saw this and allegedly said no. Now, I don't believe it was over wokeness. I just believe because it was the times that we were in but again, who is to say Calvin Ellis or Val Zod cannot pop up in the future? Nothing says that. So I'm willing to just sit down and continue to let this play out. But my stance is, he's not this bad guy that everybody's making him out to seem. Like, everybody's making a big piss and moan fest about, oh, how much money he got. I was like, yo, bro.
Well,
no.
I don't think he's a comic guy.
No. Also, I'm gonna say this too. Listen, I'm gonna say this too, bro. Yo, you don't know the calls. You don't know the meeting. You don't know the hell this dude gotta go through just to make that money. I think a lot of people, especially online, got this idea that, like, it's as easy as coming into a position, you're making all these decisions, and it's boom. It's not that, bro. I'm not even high up on the food chain at where I work, and I know it's not that easy, bro.
And it's also a thing where, like, he's not a comic book guy, right? So it's like a lot of people have, like, they do the same shit with writers, bro. Like, some writers see this shit as a job, bro. Like,
it's a job.
I don't have any special attachment to these heroes, bro. Whatever I come up with my brain is like the new origin for that character, bro. Like, I don't have any pre-notes. I'm not living myself through the characters one for one. And they see this guy, and I guess they expect, because he runs Warner Brothers, that he's supposed to be attached to Looney Tunes and attached to DC. No, bro. I care about money. And that has to be okay, because it has to be somebody in the company that only cares about money, bro. Like, he's not an arts guy. And like I said, he made some shitty choices. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But sometimes those money guys get it right.
And go ahead.
It's so much from dog. People don't realize how much debt that Warner's carries. Going back to the Time Warner days, like, you go to the CNN's not here anymore, but back when they used to be, it's a Time Warner complex that was downtown. You had CNN, you had Cartoon Network, you had TBS, you had Turner Classic Movies, Turner Classic Stuff. All of that was in one complex, dog. So many of them people just never knew if today was going to be the day that layoff get announced, because they carry so much fucking debt. And AT&T is grinding, because AT&T fucked them over big time. They did that merger for like I don't even know if it was a full 2 fucking years.
It's like 2 years. It's been my entire tenure at the company, I think.
I'm still
but they
pissed off at AT&T because they took
oh,
away a bat penis from me, bro. I'm never gonna forget that.
yeah, that did happen under them. But no, it's not even that, right? They did the merger, but see, AT&T had so much debt from when. I mean, Q probably remembers it, but y'all remember that Uverse shit? Like when they were first getting into
Yeah.
high
We
speed
don't sell
internet and
that
shit.
anymore.
Yeah,
We don't sell
dog,
that anymore.
we,
What
it was so
we
much
sell it, but don't.
fucking debt.
Yeah.
It was so much debt. They settled Warner Brothers after the merger. And then they decided to split off and sell them. They bought them for like so many more billions than what it was worth. And then they came in and they took a large chunk of debt that AT&T had and they moved it over to Warner Brothers and
Whew.
to all their subsidiaries. And then they fucking sold the company. Then they fucking got out, sold it to Discovery for less than half of what they fucking bought it for.
Dude.
And they just got out of it. Dog, so many people have lost, like people I used to work with and everything. Like so many people have lost fucking jobs over this shit. And it goes back to 18. Boy, like it's nasty out there. So like Zach, like I think he has made some shitty decisions. But he also came into a shitty situation at a time when nobody else was willing to. Because I don't know if y'all remember when news came out that AT&T was going to divest from Warner Brothers. There's a reason why it sold for less than half of what they bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to fucking touch it because they had so much debt after that. After the companies divested, nobody wanted to touch it. Discovery came in, bought them for less than 50 cents on the dollar, and they've been saddled with it ever since. That's why HBO Max, we talk about the runaround that shit has had. HBO Max was a prestige. The HBO brand was just a prestige brand, and then you came in after the new merger happened, and you see that, and you bring up the app. And you got fucking The Sopranos and The Wire and Game of Thrones, and then it's next to fucking Chip and Joanna Gaines. It's next to Shark Week stuff. It's next to House Hunters and stuff. It's like, bro, what the fuck are we doing? But that's what they had to do, put the cheap shit there to help float the other more expensive shit because the company was in such a bad place. Like when people want to talk about stock prices being down, and that's why the investors kicked Zaslav's nuts in about a month ago and cut his pay. It's like, yeah, it's probably on some level deserved, but I'm like, from an economic standpoint, like,
it's just bad.
I don't know that Warner Brothers would exist today if Discovery had come in and done some of the things that they've done.
Yeah.
Because
we cannot like the things, but I don't think they survive if it doesn't.
Yeah.
That Marvel DC merger rumor, there's a little more smoke to that than it was a little more. It was a spark to that.
Oh, bro, you don't have to tell me. Back in 2012, I was fully entrenched in the Time Warner corporate structure. No, bro, you see they've gone back and forth on these two companies about who's going to buy the other at a time. Alan Horn, back when he was the executive vice president of Warner Brothers. Okay, he was going to be the next guy up before they went outside and hired Sujahara. He had the idea. He was like, "Look, all our big franchises are coming to an end. This is in like 2011, 2012. He's like, the Dark Knight franchise is about to wrap up in this last film. The Harry Potter films just wrapped up. The Lord of the Rings shit just wrapped up. We're doing the Hobbit trilogy, but nobody inside here thinks it's going to be as big as the Lord of the Rings, in which he ended up being right about. He was like, we need to go in and we need to start buying franchises. And he gave those executives a list, but they were being short-sighted and they were being cheap. You want to know the companies he listed? Pixar. He listed Lucasfilm. He listed Marvel. You see the companies I'm listing? Look who bought all three of those, bro. Like Warner Brothers was the biggest fucking studio in Hollywood for 100 years, up until like 2012, 2014. Disney bought all three of those companies that Alan Horn was telling Warner Brothers to buy. But they were like, I don't know if we can come up with that kind of money. No.
Imagine they would have got the deal, the Lucasfilms deal, bro.
Yes, bro. Lucasfilm
Oof.
sold for $4 billion.
Imagine
Marvel,
how
Marvel, I think was about 2, and Pixar. I'm not sure on the Pixar one because I think Jobs might have still been over Pixar at the time, so that one might have cost a little more. But you could have done 2 out of 3 of those for $6 billion and been in a much.
And yeah, you would have been good. You would have been good.
Imagine that multiverse movie with that multiverse game with Jedi's in it. Like,
yes,
matter of fact, when I think about it, it's kind of insane that he didn't come to them with that deal because of Clone Wars history on Cartoon Network. It doesn't even make sense. Like,
yep.
Like I said, bro, it's the brain trust, bro.
It's
Alan Horn shocked them the ideas of companies to buy. They were like, nah, we can't do it. Because that's the other thing. Warner Brothers is very much more stockholder driven than a lot of other studios. Yeah, people have stockholders that they have to listen. But Warner's, they at that time, because they were the cream of the crop as far as old Hollywood film studios. Like I said, they had been the biggest game in the industry for 100 fucking years. So their shareholders held a lot of power. And they were like, nah, we're not trying to spend that much money. You got to remember, Warner's is the people who would spend like $30 million and turn around and put out a film and it goes to make 120
yeah.
million. They spent little bits amount of money for big returns. Hell, look at the first Blade, which a lot of people don't remember, Warner Brothers put out. They made the profit margin on that shit compared to what they spent back then was Warner Brothers' whole business model. What's that?
I mean,
no, is that why we can't? Is that what you think? That's one of the reasons why that Marvel hasn't just.
I don't think so. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, not to deviate because we got to get back on track. But I think that's just more of Marvel. They just don't know what to do creatively with it.
I think they never had a plan to make a Blade movie. I think they
just
went to
threw it to the
Mahershala
wall.
Ali. Said, hey, what do you want to do? And because he was an Academy Award winning, he was coming off his Academy Award win.
That bullshit Dark Angel movie.
And they were like, yo, we want to get him and just have him do something. And they gave him carte blanche. Like, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to do Blade. Even though he was already Mahershala is too old to fucking play Blade. And he was too old back then. And now you spent.
I don't want to go on a rant, y'all.
Yeah, no. We can't go too far off because we got
rant.
Yeah, we
I
got
talk about that shit all night.
Yeah, but to wrap up though, to wrap up, listen. Oh, I see. And there's one more point I do want to touch because somebody, I forget if it was AJ or Quentin, but one of y'all brought up Marvel, but like, hey, Baby Zaza is the reason why we're getting all these DC and Marvel crossovers now. Who knows? I mean, we got Batman.
That's more James Gunn than him, because my bad. I'm gonna let y'all go and we can rock out. But the All In stuff is propelling all of this. The ideal of All In, like when you go to the movie, it's gonna feel like a product of the All In initiative.
Okay.
I don't know how that sounds, but it feels like it's very much part of that initiative.
Okay.
And I think that's another thing too. Why you're getting, I think DC and Marvel finally understanding. Hey, we're in a bad economy right now.
Let's work together. Let's work together.
Like we might as well. That's what we did in the glory days. Why we having a war? Because we're letting bots and fanboys talk. Let's get this money, bro. Let's get this money.
And it's working, but yeah, we'll see how things go with this whole thing. Like I said, Zaslav is not bad, and he's not bad for supposedly axing this movie. And also, we on the upswing. We on the upswing right now, and let's hope that this upswing can continue. And speaking of that upswing, so we got another report that DC has a plan now. So apparently, They have a set plan on like how many movies and TV shows and whatnot we're gonna get, and all of this is gonna lead to a Justice League movie. We all knew Justice League movie was coming, but now we have, like, I guess you could say, confirmation. I mean, James Gunn hasn't like officially said it, but we could trust the source of this article specifically. It's from WSJ. So a Justice League movie or Justice League movies are coming. So, like I said, I'm here for it as long as it's done well. And personally, I said it with Elvis. If that, bro, if we have to wait a while for a Justice League movie, I don't mind waiting a while. If that means we have to, we got to let everybody build up their proper solo stories. You know what I'm saying? Let the universe get more established. Let us feel like we're living in a shared, connected universe before we get to Justice League. I am 100% for it, because if I feel that way as a comic book fan, and the general public feels that way, oh, we good. Then when this Justice League movie comes out, people could be like, finally, you did it right. This feels good.
Idea. I like the plan. Personally, I like the plan a lot. I think it's logically makes sense. Especially seeing how Marvel did how Marvel kind of failed and didn't fail at the same time with their Disney Plus stuff. I think, one, with characters like, Zatanna, you can do more with her in an animated series, an adult show tune, than you could practical, right? Mm-hmm. Blue Beetle, you can do a lot more, especially when you start involving the other colored Blue Beetles. That can be more emphasized, animated, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can have maybe like a 8-episode Green Arrow thing, origin story or whatever.
Oh, please, yes, injected into my veins.
I think if you do smaller increment, we pretty much, I think we're not gonna find out about Batman until Superman 2. Because considering everything that we've heard about him already writing the second script and he's teasing World's Finest, I think that's when you're gonna find out about your Batman, right? And I think you do these smaller, intimate crossovers like you did with Creature Commandos. That technically crossed over with Suicide Squad and Peacemaker with Flag. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then that was your first introduction to Frank Gallo as Rick Flag Sr., right? And then I had to think back to like Flag's in this fucking movie. And I was like, oh shit, that's the Flag from Creature Commandos, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, because I don't know if everybody watched Creature Commandos, but it was all right.
Yeah,
I hated Frankenstein, but besides that, it was solid, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you're gonna get more of those situations. I'm thinking maybe like if you want a Green Lantern Corps show, that seems better than you do lanterns, right? So you get your main important lanterns working. Then you do an animated series that takes place in Oa. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And you could build out those secondary, those arbitrary characters, those satellite characters to the mythos. So when you do get your big Green Lantern movie, we already know who Tamaray is. We already know who Kilowog is. We already got Sinestro, who turned evil instead of the Sinestro Corps. And you know what I'm saying? You can do it more fast paced and it won't be such a big gap. Because I think after this movie, we get, like you said, we get Peacemaker next month, and then we get Supergirl Christmas, or we're gonna wait the
No, isn't that
it's next year?
Next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they saying early 26 for Supergirl.
So probably March during International Women's Month, probably.
Yeah, probably somewhere around there. It's another project. No, Lanterns is, I think.
Oh, Lanterns,
next year as well.
But see, that's around January, February time. I know for sure.
And see, that's what it seems to be anyway. What they're doing is, because I think he's gonna kind of take that first Avengers model, right? Where the only people who had movies were your heavy hitters, right? Your Iron Man, your Captain America, Thor,
Incredible Hulk.
And Hulk, right? Black Widow and Hawkeye had shown up in other people's movies. Nick Fury had been
Iron
showing
Man
up
and
since the
Hulk.
very first Iron Man, and Coulson showed up in
All the
Coulson and
movies.
Maria Hill showed up in Iron Man 2. So I think that's how they're going to do. You obviously, like you said, we got the Superman movie, right? But who else is in Superman? Hawk Girl, which we gotta
Yep.
assume. Okay, she's gonna be on your Justice League. So
Mm-hmm.
you've already introduced her. So now that's 2 out of your. If you go with 7, that's 2 out of 7 right
Mm-hmm.
there. If you keep the lineup of the cartoon lineup, which it seems like that's the
We're
direction
headed to.
James is kind of leaning, then you go, okay, well, we got John
Aaron
and
Pierre.
we got John Stewart and we got Hal Jordan and Lanterns coming up. Okay.
And guy, technically, yeah.
Yeah, guys in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 3 Lanterns that you have in that show. I think Carol supposed to be in it in Lanterns?
I think so. Yeah. Did we see a picture of the actress?
I thought she got cast.
Oh yeah, because she's supposed to be older or some shit like that, and she wasn't.
Yeah. She is. Yeah.
So okay, so you have them there. I don't expect Supergirl to be on the League, but you got to wonder, okay, what other characters will potentially be in there? If it's depending on how strict they go by Woman of Tomorrow, might not be much, but
I think that's gonna be a really good movie. Right? I think Woman Tomorrow is the movie that we should.
I do too. I mean,
that's the one we gotta grade hard.
I know the timeline likes to hate Tom King, but it's a reason
It's
why
a good read. It's a very good read.
It's a reason why people in the industry, people who actually do the comic book shit, love Tom King. Like it's a. I'm sorry, you don't keep getting nominated for fucking Eisners every year. You don't keep getting the Hollywood studios want to be working with you if you're not good at your job. It just doesn't happen. So, I think Woman of Tomorrow is gonna be really good. Then after that, we've heard they want to get a Titans film going. I don't know how soon that happens.
If you're not doing Titans if you're not doing the Avengers method with introducing the sidekicks, I don't really want it.
Well, we also got to slot Brave and the Bold in at some point. We also have to slot in the Wonder Woman movie at some point.
Well,
we gotta get Paradise Lost first.
That's right. Paradise Lost. That's right. So
get Paradise Lost. You gotta get the Amanda Waller Checkmate show.
I think that might be its own little. I don't want to say separate, but how the espionage side of DC kind of has its own little pocket.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it's gonna be. Cause I ain't gonna lie, in Superman, there's some of that, right? Like Maxwell Lord has his moment, so you can kind of. I think I know who's gonna be the overarching bad guy. I think. I'm gonna wait till y'all see the movie before I say what I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I know who's gonna be our overarching bad guy, and it's not gonna be Darkseid. I can tell you that much. It's gonna be a lot more grounded, I think.
All right, but yeah, so it sounds like off rip. We have the bones. We got the bones of Justice League. Because the universe, like I said, I talked about it with Elvis. The universe is still already established. We still got holdover from the Zack Snyder stuff, and then we got the stuff that's coming up now, and obviously Superman. So we got good bones, and I think, pending obviously, I think we'll get hit with some delays here and there, nothing crazy, but if they keep up with this good momentum. And if they keep up with this consistent schedule, and the quality is good, I think we good. I think we got it when it comes to a Justice League movie. Because all right, so what? How many years are we into this new James Gunn universe? The reset. So let's count. Flash as the reset. So
they were
Flash came out what?
I believe.
The Flash came out when?
Flash would have come
20,
out probably 23.
23.
I think
Okay.
they were announced in 22. Um,
So we got
Flash
23.
came out. Flash came out in 23.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was the last DC, right? Yeah.
I
I think Blue Beetle came out in 23 as well. And then into 24,
think we didn't
Creature
really have
Commandos.
anything.
yeah,
Oh,
Creature
Creature
Commandos.
Commandos, yeah.
Creature Commandos.
Commandos. Yep. And then
Superman.
Oh
Superman's.
shit! Wait, what year was Peacemaker? Even though he
That's
bounces
21,
between.
22,
Yeah,
huh?
20. That's earlier, I believe.
Okay.
Because that
Yeah.
came right after Suicide Squad, low key. Like I think
Yeah,
Peacemaker
that
debuted
was
maybe
that
3
was
or 4 months
22.
after.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
sidebar, while we're on this, I just want to touch on, because I know we're running kind of late, running behind. With everything how bad Flash went, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think they're gonna shelf him like they're doing Green Lantern, or how they did Green Lantern for a while?
No.
I think what they're gonna do is what you're seeing in the comics right now. We're gonna
I'm glad you brought it up.
Barry Allen for a bit, but yes, there will be flashes around. So I think because you got to remember the DC animated stuff was Wally, so I think you're gonna get Wally.
Walk
for a
with
bit.
me for a second.
Go ahead.
Now you saying that, now walk with me. A lot of us that actually were invested in Flash, right? Like the CW shit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Gustin Grant, with the correct script and budget, could be a very good live action movie version of Barry Allen. I do believe that, right? I think he has the acting chops for it. There's too many scenes that he delivered throughout the course of those 7 seasons that were like, mwah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you had like now granted, we know this movie takes place, Bruce has already had like 5 Robins, right? So we already know that. So this is a seasoned Barry Allen, right?
Uh-huh.
So what if you have Gustin play Barry in his own solo movie again? You give Gustin like his flowers or whatever, but the end of that movie is basically sending Barry into the
time
Speed
stream.
Force.
Yeah. Okay.
And it forces Wally to be, and we see Wally be the first sidekick of the first generation, become the Flash at the end of that movie, and then you key off Wally being and everything.
Okay, my question is, okay, if you're gonna center it around Gustin's Barry, are you recasting everyone else in his universe, or are you bringing that old cast over?
Oh yeah, we're ignoring everybody but Gustin. We're gonna have our. You could keep the supporting cast from the fucking movie for all I give a shit. But we get the right Barry. We get, because like I said, we all know innately when you saw Ezra Miller get casted as Barry Allen, nobody was okay with it.
Yeah.
Right or wrong,
Nah. I wasn't.
I never believed that was Barry. No. I thought it was Wally with a non-binary twist, and and they wanted to slap Barry's name on it.
I'll be honest, I think Ezra would have been a better choice to do what Zach was doing with Lex Luthor than Jesse Eisenberg. And I'm a Jesse Eisenberg fan, but I think Ezra could have played that role. That role as how it was written, I think he could have done that a lot better. Because people be shitting on Ezra because he did turn out to be a bit of out there and a bit of an asshole at times, but Ezra Miller can act his ass off. I don't like folk be like, it was something like within the past week or so, people trying to compare him and Grant, and I'm like, fam, if all you've ever seen is Ezra's DC stuff, I can understand how you would feel that way.
He has some shit that's some bangers. He got some shit.
Go watch Perks of Being a Wallflower. What's that?
I said I probably fit in that mode of not seeing much of him outside of like Flash, Justice League, and like the Griswold, the Harry Potter stuff.
He was miscast as Barry Allen, so I can understand why people would feel like, all right, he's not a great actor. Go watch some of his other stuff, and I promise you,
He's good. He's
he's
good.
good. Not only is he good, but I promise, more than likely, you'll agree with that take that he would have been better for that Lex Luthor role, as how Lex was written by Zach and Chris Terrio.
And
Now
also,
Because
before,
traditional Lex,
hold on,
no.
I want to say this too. Before anybody gets smart, especially if you're watching this on the replay, we are saying when we say he's good, we are meaning acting. We are not lumping that in, with all the other shit that he has going on. Like
Yeah,
we can
nah,
be
not at all.
nuanced here. We can multiple things can be true. Yes, there may be some things going on off the camera, but that doesn't take away from what they have done
the talent.
on camera.
Don't
Yes,
take away from the
so
talent.
I want to make that very clear. Continue.
Yeah, no, I mean
But
that was pretty much it. Like
because I think that's going to be the hardest one to get back on a float. I don't
I
think
don't
Wonder
think
Woman's
so
gonna be that
though.
hard to get
I
right.
don't think so. I really don't think so. I really don't think
I
so.
think it's too much brain damage, bro. The
I
same way
don't
we
think
were
it'll
talking
be
about the
as
Justice League and
I don't think it will be as bad as Green Lantern, because part of the Green Lantern shit was that Ryan Reynolds spent the next decade after Green Lantern bombed trashing it every chance he could. Talking about the suit, talking about the scripting process and all of that, and all of that can be very true, and he's entitled to his thoughts about it. But him talking about it at every
Yeah.
opportunity is what led to us not seeing anything Green Lantern related outside of the animated movies for this fucking long. Like, people forget there was a stretch of time when Johns was on that book that Green Lantern was the biggest thing at DC, not named Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was on top of the world at that company at that time. That's why they wanted to start their new universe. They wanted to start it with Green Lantern. Man of Steel was not meant to be the first movie of the DCEU, like I've said. The film just bombed and they had to change their plans, but that was like why the fuck do you think Amanda Waller's in a Green Lantern movie? Like, they're setting up a universe, bro.
And also too, like it says a lot when even after that Flash movie bombed, people still are asking about a Flash. Like, I feel like that's one of the most asked questions is like, what's up with Flash? What's up with Flash? I think people realize this version of the Flash wasn't good, and that era wasn't good, and Flash just happened to be the big casualty of it all. But I think people want to see a Flash. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's always that love for it. And, shout out to Grant because, yeah,
he's
despite
lobbying for
all
it,
of
bro.
that,
Like,
and as
he's really going out. No, my bad. Go ahead, bro.
no, and yes, I agree that Grant did a solid job as Flash, but I also want to see that go to somebody that is new and fresh. I don't want. I like the idea, but I want it to be somebody like new or kind of up and coming. Because I feel like Grant,
Yeah.
if that's why I say if DC plays their cards right, they could do a Crisis on Infinite Earths, bring Grant back then, and I think Grant would 100% get even more of his flowers. Like,
I know what
And
you're
you
talking
gotta
about
remember
too.
that's what they were building. The last regime, they were just
What the fuck?
heavy-handed and sloppy with it. They were building towards Crisis. That was like Gunn and Snyder and Sujihara. That was the big one. And they always showed y'all the plans on those big whiteboards that Zach
Mm-hmm.
would have Jim Lee come in and draw. Yeah, they were building towards a Crisis, and they were gonna have DC shit from everywhere crossing over, like TV, game, film, streaming, all of that. I just they weren't going about it in the greatest of ways. So
Yeah,
And Rob, I think you're right.
Mhm.
I do think you're right about maybe doing it to where like a Crisis thing, Gustin gets his flowers, because I think that's what made Gustin great in the first place, because we hadn't seen Flash since like John Wesley Ships in like 92, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I, I get that.
Yeah, and like look at what made like Love or Hate Crisis, right? You know the CW one, but like one of the big takeaways from that was Tom Welling coming back. You
Yeah.
know, and you know what's his name coming back and playing what is it 89 Superman Kingdom Come Superman what's his
Brandon
Brandon
Routh.
Routh.
Brandon Routh. You see what I'm saying? Like those guys ended up getting their flowers in a big ensemble movie. So, and I think he can get that with somebody new that's kind of like taking the charge first, and then we bring him back. Because I think Gunn and them are paying attention to how hard you know Gustin has been lobbying for it. But I like the tradition of somebody new coming in, and then you got the OG coming in behind him. Like
Mm-hmm.
not
But
behind
that's
him,
what.
but
But that's kind of why I say. That's kind of why I said the whole. You have that one movie with him, and you X him off, right? Like you X him out, and then you allow that Wally to really kind of shine out. You knock out two birds with one stone, or whatever. Then you can bring him back whenever it's time to bring him back, if that makes sense.
yeah, it's valid. No, I hear that. But yeah, I think either way, either way could work. Like as long as you know the writing is consistent, you know, and I think you know to kind of bring it all home, like I I'm happy that we have this moment here, and I think it's important to stress this. Yes, right now, James Gunn, you know, deserves praise and all of that. But what I don't want to happen is that this
Come on,
brother is
man.
shouldering everything on his own. Like Gunn needs to have some other people alongside him.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
we like you know great. Let him be the ideas guy, but make sure there's a good writing team and there's like another two or three people that's right there behind him that can also shepherd this entire universe. Because what happened, right? Feige was on top for the longest time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say Feige still don't got it, but it's clear that at some point Feige was dropping the ball. Like, bro, people stopped checking in with Feige after a while.
I mean, they said it. He stretched too thin.
He stretched it.
He didn't even want to do the Disney push. That was,
So
you know, when they did that streaming service, and what was the guy's name after Iger stepped down? I can't even remember, but they didn't want. He did not want Marvel stuff on TV. He felt like, hey, Netflix is doing that. Let let them keep it there. I mean, because you know, let's truth be told, they were kind of uh, egotistical about, oh, we're bigger than TV. It's the same reason why they never acknowledged Agents of Shield
yeah,
in the films, even though the show constantly acknowledged what they were doing on in the movies. So he was never big on TV. His bosses decided, hey, we need some Marvel shows to go on our streaming service that we're spending billions of dollars on. We have to justify this expense. And so then you start getting everybody and their mother practically is getting a show. Some were good, some were not, but the quality was all over the place. And it was, and not to say that everything in the MCU on film was just great, because we know it wasn't, but there was a more consistent level of quality control that
yes,
you didn't get once they started spreading the brand to a lot thinner. So you have things like Loki, which is really good. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but WandaVision is critically acclaimed. Folks like that. But then you get things like Moon Knight, which, eh. Um, you get things like, you know, I'm a bigger fan of She-Hulk because that was essentially a run of the. It was essentially the Burn and the Soul run smashed together. But yeah, a lot of folks didn't like that. I'm a fan of it, but it's probably also not the direction Feige would have taken a She-Hulk project. So that's kind of what
She
you
Hulk's an
end up with.
acquired taste.
I mean, just like the comics, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like niggas, She-Hulk
think
does
if you went in that,
if you
go ahead, AJ, you finish it.
She-Hulk is everything that the Deadpool fanboys love about Deadpool, but except she did it first. Like
Mm.
the fourth
Real
wall,
talk.
the breaking, the joking with your audience, the like all of that she did first. You know, minus the blood and gore of your Deadpool in the films, the excessive cursing. She gave a middle finger and dropped an F bomb, I think, in the series, but that was about it. Um, but everything else is Deadpool, and she did it first. But people hated the show and loved Deadpool. And I'm like, really, really?
Oh, also, Aki did
Hey,
bring up a good point.
if
Aki said Tom
you
King,
don't like
Damon.
She-Hulk, you don't like. Puh, puh, puh.
No,
I
no,
can't
but
say it because I don't want
man, you good. But how many times I gotta say y'all can say what the fuck y'all want on this channel, dog?
No,
Like,
I feel like they're not. I know AJ is coming from a perspective that it's just a taste thing for him, right? But
yeah,
the other people, like, there's a lot of people who, Drake had the line where I make music for niggas who get women, right? Who get pussy. I think if you get pussy, and if you dabble with women and you talk to powerful women who have good jobs, who got something going for themselves, like you got sisters, like you conversate with women, like you would
yeah.
understand
Mhm.
She-Hulk more. Like they were. I never thought people would be hurt about She-Hulk shaking ass.
It's
No,
a,
I thought that's what all this.
like
I
it's
thought that's
a.
all the smut shit that y'all like. You know
Here's
what I
the thing.
mean?
I think here's the thing. Like I feel we spoke about it previously. But before I say anything about that, I do want to mention what Aki said. Aki said Tom King, Damon
I was about to
Lindelof,
bring
and
that up too.
others, yeah, are well working with him. So I think it's slightly better than what Marvel is going through. Yeah. So yeah, I completely forgot about that because it's like it's. I don't want to say it's easy to forget. Tom King is working with them because it's like we all know Tom King as like the comics guy. But yes, no,
Mm-hmm.
you're right. He
I'm
King
glad we're.
is
I'm glad we're.
invested. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about his comment, let's talk about his comment before that, right? About the CIA stuff, right? I think y'all got to get over the fact that somebody had a job before, bro. Like he wasn't out here committing war crimes. Y'all gotta stop having that sentiment, dog. Like, does he talk about maybe patriotic things a little too much? But if you listen to Tom and his conversations about why he writes certain things, like, I can't defend the Jenny Sparks show. I can't defend that because I don't know what the hell that was. The other thing, you write what you know. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
was a spy at the end of the day. Like that's part of the job, bro. Like you sign up to be a spy to do questionable things, bro. Like he didn't start the war. He didn't go. I had somebody on my timeline was saying like he started war crimes. I'm like, bro,
No.
he didn't do it. I think you got the wrong guy, bro. Like you're putting shit on him because of whatever sentiment that you got about something. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm not super pro the army or nothing like that. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
it's like me
It's
being mad at a
I was about to
prosecutor.
make
Like,
a
oh, come
I
on,
was
dude.
about
yeah.
to make a
We're so.
military joke. But I'm
I think for the purpose of this because that couldn't be divulged into a whole thing. My whole thing is just like there is this isn't black and white. There's too much nuance here with it, and I think especially being online and just like seeing certain conversations happen over and over, it's easy to get stuck in that rut. But I'm not staying here when it comes to King. Like I like the work that he does. His past is his past, and I'm gonna keep it at that. Like whatever that brother did back then, that shit is in the past. He gotta live with that. That's my thing. He has to live with that. He
I
has
mean,
to.
Yeah.
and
So
also, I guess my question is like, okay, what if we don't want him writing comics because of CIA stuff, right? Cool. We're not here to debate the history of the CIA. It's well known. Y'all
Yeah.
gotta y'all pick and choose who y'all want to get his smoke to about comics, because and I'm a fan of his too. Everybody loves PKJ. Guys, PKJ just retired from the army like
oh,
3 months ago, dog. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Oh
Like,
boy,
like
oh boy.
my King is has said, "Hey man, I spent most of my time in the office, in a desk with me and two other guys, and one of the guys slept pretty much the whole time in the job." So, I mean, it is what it is. But
Yeah. Oh, I'd even. Oh, but yeah. So listen, he has to live with whatever it is, and that's why I don't get too much into the Tom King debate, especially in 2025. But speaking of, but to close this, um, I like the bones that we got, and I hope we did talk about Marvel, their shortcomings. I hope they learned from that, you know, and I hope that they learned from the previous regime, and I just hope everybody takes their time. I feel like between Marvel Studios and DC Studios, or whatever the fuck they were calling themselves before, there was a lot to learn here. There was so much to learn. So
mhm.
if DC Studios and Gunn or whoever was to go through those same pitfalls, that is all on them, because there's so much history. There's so much. The pitfalls are there, so you know what to do. You know what not to do. So anything after that is up to you. So take your time. Take your time. If we gotta wait a good 5 or 6, 7 years for a Justice League movie, that's okay. Doomsday right around the corner. Secret Wars right around the corner. Nigga, Fast and Furious is right around the corner. And they probably gonna do an end game type shit like that too. So like I said, we
I
got
can't wait.
time. I can't wait either, bro. Bring Paul Walker back. But yeah, listen, I'm here for this. I'm excited for this. And last but not least, you know, I've been waiting. Oh, my fault. I've been waiting all night to talk about this specifically. But yeah, y'all, I think it's only fair because we have not touched on a lot of the stuff that's happening in the Superman books. It would be wrong to give all this praise to the Superman movie without talking about what's happening in the Superman books. So I do want to start off by saying Superman is probably in the best place I've seen it in years. I'm talking the main book. That book is killing it. It's been consistent from Dawn of DC to where it was doing its own thing. We did have the little tie into Absolute Power, but now we're in the all in era where this book is essentially leading the fucking charge in a way I have not expected the Superman book to do. It's gotten to the point where on my way to New York, I read Superman and I read Justice League. Bro, the way those books were bouncing on top of each other and just like connecting, and the story that we are setting up towards, this is some good shit. And I feel like Superman is kind of underrated right now, which is crazy to say, but it's kind of underrated right now. But how are we feeling about the Superman comic books right now? Well, mainly the main Superman book. How y'all feeling?
I'm loving it. If it was either Green Arrow or Superman, I think Williamson picked the right book, leaving Green Arrow.
Get out! Get out! Get out!
No,
Get out! How
I'm
dare you?
sorry.
I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm
I'm
playing.
I'm keeping it a stack. I think Condon's story has been better than a lot of what Williamson did on Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Williamson got the family back together, and that's good for your feels and stuff. But it wasn't a ton of actual story. It was getting the family together, and then it was absolute power set up.
Yeah.
Here we're getting an Ollie story, bro, and so I think Williamson has been much stronger on Superman
Agreed.
from like you say from from Dawn of DC, Holland stuff. I just think he's doing better work there. I think part of that is probably he was getting spread a little thin between the DC stuff and the Energon universe stuff.
Yeah.
And also, you got to remember, until Wade kind of has taken over that role, he was show running the DC books for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something had to give. I'm glad that Superman is the book he stuck it out on because he's been doing some really good stuff. The Lex stuff, the Maryland Moon Knight stuff, the the Graft and Farm stuff. How they done it to where Superman, how his rage is kind of setting off on. It's not a new power set, but he's more influenced by rage at times when stuff just like really starts to hit the fan. I'm loving that stuff. Then you got the tie-ins with how all of that is going to connect to the Absolute Universe stuff. We're about to see Darkseid's his Legion of what are they? Are they called Legion? I can't remember what because they're not Legion of
The Legion of Darkseid.
Yes, thank you, Legion of Darkseid. So we're about to see how that stuff is connecting with Superman. Like that book is in a really good place right now. Oh shit, I'm forgetting everything they did with Lois.
Oh and, my gosh, yes.
Like yeah, I just think that the Superman book has been some of Williamson's best DC work in a while, and I think a large part of that is him. Like he's still doing some show running, but he has other people to take the brunt of that.
Yeah.
Of that task, so he's able to be a little more nimble with his storytelling, and it's paying off. Like Superman's probably his best book of his. I want to say since the early stuff he was doing on Flash back in Rebirth. So yeah, like I'm loving Superman right now.
Yeah, I think it's his best work since being at DC. Like I will give him credit on Flash. I forgot who I was having a conversation. It might have been Blackwing, but I'm gonna give him credit on Flash because I think that was one of the only books at the time that survived the tumultuous times at DC.
Yeah.
It went through Rebirth. It went through DC Universe.
He did 100 issues, right?
He did 100 issues.
Certain, yeah.
So, like, he was able to carry Flash through so many different eras. And sure, you know, there were some hits and misses there, but, like, not too many writers can say they were able to hold a book together during that time. We lost a lot of books during that time. I think one of the only books that might have... I think Red Hood might have... No, Red Hood. We lost Red Hood at 50.
It relaunched, I think.
We lost Green Arrow at 50. We lost a lot of books during that time, but Flash stayed consistent. And I think he learned a lot. Lose? What's up?
Know who else he didn't lose?
What else?
Batman.
Oh, valid. We, you know, even though it got cut off
I'm
at...
just talking shit.
No.
Gotta keep pushing the agenda.
You're right, though. You're right. Because if we're going to keep it a fat stack, like King's Batman and Williamson, they roughly had kind of like a same issue count, minus 15 issues. So I'm going to give him a lot of credit on Flash. And, you know, he did some things after that I enjoyed. But my thing with Williamson was just like, you can't stay on a book to save your life. And I thought that was going to be this case with Superman. But no, he has stayed on Superman. Even through the two different eras we've gone through, the book has stayed consistent. And one thing I will always give the book praise on is that it is good at telling a Superman story. The Superman world is growing. But also at the back end, we are dealing with all the absolute stuff. So, unlike a Green Arrow where you can say, sure, yes, the family was back together, but you can also say it was mainly an absolute power tie-in book at the same time.
But Williamson told us that he was doing that for fan service for himself.
Yes, yes.
He had been very candid about saying, hey, this is about me course correcting shit that should have been corrected during the New 52 launch. That should have been corrected during Rebirth. I think that was the point of Green Arrow. You know, I think it was like you guys both said during the time of it was going on, it was a lot of fan service. right? So I think we do. It's a lot of fluff. I think we technically said all of this stuff already,
Yeah.
but like I think Superman, he has more. He's breaking new ground in a way.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Like Supercorp, I feel like that's like a staple now. You know, everything that's happening with Lex, I didn't expect it to stick the way it did, but it's sticking. And it's good. It's really good. I thought Superwoman was just gonna be like a, something they kind of just like brushed by, but like that was a pretty compelling story. Like damn near everything that he's introduced, it's been good. Like the Marilyn Moon Knight stuff. This, I keep forgetting their names. The twins, but that stuff was good. Like I feel like Superman has forced Williamson to become an even better storyteller. Not just focus on events. Not just focus on like okay, let me just get this thing going on for a couple months and I'm gonna leave. No, it's like he's actually putting boot to ass and telling a good story here. And like I think in an omnibus, this is gonna read amazing. Like even if you're not following the absolute stuff, you could brush out to the side. Oh, cool. But because it's happening, it adds on to the story. You see what I'm saying? So I think this is like a top 3 book at DC right now. And to see how Superman was in the mud when a couple years ago, right? And I've said this here, I pretty sure before. I didn't like Peter Tomasi's Superman. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for me. This was a little bit too wholesome, and I dropped the book like right after the Super Sons, the first initial Super Sons crossover. I made sure I got the Super Sons issue when they first met, and then I left the book. And then we had the Bendis era, which wasn't terrible all the way, but then that happened, and then Philip Kennedy Johnson did his thing. But I feel like this is the best the book has been since 2016. And I think the only book that has rivaled this, the only 2 books that has rivaled this, one, I will always give it its credit, Dan Jurgens' Action Comics Rebirth. I am waiting for DC to put out an omnibus for that. I will always keep championing for that because it's a crime that it hasn't happened yet. That is number 1. Number 2 is Warworld. Those are the only 2 Superman related books that has, in the last like 10 or 15 years, that can hold a fire to what's happening now. And I think Williamson was the good choice for Superman because who else could have taken it? Nobody. Wade, I don't think Wade.
In their stable now, yeah, I don't think so.
Nobody. And like, say what you want, but like Williamson and Dan Mora, great combo. And even Williamson and Eddie Burroughs. So when Dan is busy doing other shit, Eddie Burroughs is handling the art, and Eddie Burroughs is fucking drawing his ass off too.
Yeah.
So I really want to give credit to, the creative teams on Superman. So like, and we can talk a little bit about this. I know I talked about it in the group chat, but there's a crisis coming. And let me tell you, I smiled on the bus ride to New York because the week prior, I saw everything that was happening in Superman. With the time stopper, whatever the fuck is Doomsday, whatever. I'm just calling him Doomsday. Fuck his other name. Fuck your other name.
Right.
And then I read Justice League Unlimited, and then I see Doomsday pop up, and it's like, oh my god, something's happening. There's a crisis coming. I was like, oh shit. I can't believe it. For the first time in a while, ever, I'm excited for a crisis. And what do we think? What do we think?
I fear Perpetua is coming back though.
Oh my boo, yo! Listen, sidebar, yo. Perpetua could get this work, bro.
No shit,
Perpetua,
baddie.
yo, she is a baddie, bro. What? Oh my! But continue. My fault. My bad. Go ahead.
So I had to drop off for a second, but now I know you guys are talking about you don't
The
know
upcoming.
who could really write
Oh no,
in
no.
the
We
current
we
staple.
no. We were saying we talk about the crisis. The crisis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. What are your thoughts about
Okay,
the
okay.
upcoming crisis?
Uh, I think everything has been pretty positive. I love Superman right now, right? I think we're all on a Superman high. This really is the summer of Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, AJ said it earlier, man. Like y'all both have kind of touched on my sentiments. Like I'm all for pushing boundaries, right? Like you know how I feel about JT4's, JT4's Batman, Tom King choice to kill Alfred. There's been things that's happened in this run that's been really cool. Marilyn Moonlight. I love this version of Lex. I love heroic anti-hero get the job done Lex. I like it's a cool change of pace. But I mean, I'm interested. Like I said, I'm just happy to see all. I'm happy that we have a plan, right?
Yeah.
That would like that these two timelines. The situation hasn't felt like the Golden State Warriors two timelines. That's a little meta joke for those who watch basketball. Uh, but I don't. I'm glad they're not interfering with each other as much, right? Like Superman as a title has had room to breathe since everything happened with Darkseid and Absolute. The
Mhm.
Absolute Superman has had time to breathe. Now I'm bridging that in with using the Legions to connect both titles. Seems pretty appropriate considering his connection to the Legion.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see next week's episode. I think it comes out next week, right?
I can check,
Uh,
but yeah.
or I think it's next month, maybe. Uh, I'm interested to
Yeah.
see that conversation with Lantern Girl. I hope somebody has the balls to address that. John used to date her, but
Ooh.
but anywho, um, but no, I mean, like it is what it is, bro. Like I mean, Josh is a solid writer. I like it. Like I don't think I read last month's issue. Just being completely, I think I did read it because that's the one where Lex, well, he was looking for Lex, right? That's what happened
Yeah.
last
Lex
last last
escaped.
this month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did read. I did read it. But like, nigga, like I read so many comics, bro. Like it's starting to run together at this point. But like I said, bro, like I really don't have anything of substantialness to add to it, like that you guys haven't already touched on. Like it's Josh Williamson. He's a proven writer. He's good. I mean, it's a crisis event. I mean, with what's hanging over the DCU right now, it's going to be a different type of crisis event, and I think that's what I'm interested in seeing the most. That this is a
Mm.
different crisis. The prophecy that that he's going to have to work with Doomsday or whatever he needs Doomsday to stay alive. I think. Bro, like as you just stated with talking about Flash, he doesn't miss often. Because I mean, I was a big Flash fan of that Flash series, and I didn't realize he was on there for as long as he was until
Mhm.
like towards the end of the series, the end of the run. And he really didn't stick the landing when it came to Godspeed, paying that for bringing the Flash families back. He's a really good reset guy. Like if you need to
Yeah.
reset your table, he's really the good guy.
He gave us two
And,
endings. I
and
just remembered
compelling
that.
ideals.
He gave us two endings. He gave us one in Flash and one in Death Metal.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
uh, yeah, that's why.
That's
That's
what I'm
why
saying. Like
he's good. He's
he's
really good
like,
at things.
he's good at what he does, bro. So I mean, I really don't have nothing else to say besides like I'm here. I'm riding the wave. So yeah, that's really it, bro. Like I don't. Because I think I don't. I'm not. I'll have more to say after that conversation Clark has with Lantern Girl, Saturn Girl. I think
Okay.
I have
Okay.
more to say once they actually have the confrontation with those individuals.
Okay.
Appreciate it, bro.
Okay. But so AJ, what about you? What do you think about this upcoming crisis, bro?
Uh, I'm gonna be honest. I'm waiting to see how more of the absolute stuff plays out. I want to see because I'm wondering is if that's gonna be how they potentially tie both of these universes together, and we know it's gonna happen eventually, but it almost feels too soon. So
Hmm.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see some more of what's going on in it. I'm waiting to see it from the end of from the perspective of the absolute books before I make too much of a decision. Now I'm always down for a good crisis. I think because we haven't had one in a while that kind of reshaped the landscape of the universe, and I'm kind of split on whether or not I want that or do we do something smaller, but it's a crisis in everything but name, right? Like you had like the last big one we had was that Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, but
Yeah.
it reset a lot of stuff, but it didn't wipe too much away. I'm wondering if because we right now we're in this whole everything is canon era, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's been working for DC. Do you really want to do a crisis where some stuff gets wiped away? If anything, I think this might end up being a crisis where, like I said, things get added. I think they're looking at how to combine the absolute stuff with the main universe. And
Mm.
Which I hope they don't
theory,
do. Which I hope they don't do.
right? In theory, I think it sounds good and it could work. I just think it's way too early to do that.
Yeah.
Like we're just now coming up on finishing up year one. Let me get to like year three before you even start considering this yet. So I I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm reserving the right to change my opinion if I think it's not handled well, but also if it is handled well and does good things for them, I'll jump on board more fully. I just don't know enough right now to have anything to feel any one way concretely one way or another right now.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I mean, it it's definitely probably time for one more Crisis, Dark Crisis, Infinite Earth. What was that? 3 years ago at this point.
yeah, just about. And the worst DC event of all time.
It was
Dog
crazy.
shit. Dog shit. Uh like for me I'm of two minds with this upcoming crisis. Uh one
Y'all know what Dark Crisis is about.
we know. Listen. I promise you we're having that
You know
conversation. Oh no, no, no. We
you
are
know
gonna
what it was
have that
about.
conversation. No, we know, but we're also gonna. I want us to properly have that conversation. Like that is my goal before the end of this year. We are gonna have that conversation because
Okay.
yeah, that's a conversation a lot of people are too pussy to have, or they want to dance around it, and we are gonna have that conversation. I promise you, we're gonna do it. Um,
I'll be losing some followers real soon.
oh,
Goddamn.
but I expect to lose a couple subscribers after that conversation. Best believe. And we're not gonna live stream it. We're gonna talk about it, and then it's gonna come out. Um, so I'm of two minds of this crisis, right? The first one, I think the bullpen that we have now at DC is a little stronger to sustain a crisis like this. Because I think Dark Crisis as a whole was a miss because the bullpen wasn't strong. Williamson at that point, I feel like he was kind of tapped out.
Yeah.
And yes, you know, Dark Crisis was just a way to not get rid of, but to kind of end the whole 5G future state thing. Yeah, but I think the bullpen now is stronger because what I like with the buildup is just like it's Wade and it's Williamson, and they're in line. They're in line with each other. Like you feel like this is a cohesive story, and it's not just one person that's carrying the load. No pause. So I like that. Also, number two, my other mind is that if we are going to do a crisis, I hope it's something that doesn't interrupt what the Absolute books are doing. I hope it's something where just like Absolute Superman, Batman, or whoever, they can continue. Maybe you can do a insert crisis Absolute Superman tie-in, insert crisis Absolute Batman tie-in, and so on and so forth. And then when it's time for the lasting effects of the crisis to affect the books, let's do that. I don't want there to be all of a sudden in the middle of my Absolute Superman, oh, insert crisis, part one, part two. No, please no, please no. I think they have a good thing going here with the Absolute books, and it would be stupid to disrupt that, especially this early with the crisis. Now you're telling me I gotta follow the Absolute books, and I gotta follow the mainline books to get this story? No. Give me a little tie. Give me like a off-brand tie-in somewhere, so where the main narrative of these books can continue, and then maybe down the line, when we have a lot more, good energy built up or a lot more goodwill built up, then you could probably cross over the books within the books. But now it's a little bit too early. And I also like that this era, it's continuing what I like post, what is it, Dark Crisis Infinite. Like, bro, all we dealing with is dark side shit. For the first time in a while, guys, I don't feel like I'm being beat over the head with concepts that are too high over my head. So one part of me is also kind of thinking, all right, bro, if is Scott Snyder going to be involved in this, or is he not? And if he is going to be if Scott Snyder is going to be involved, is he going to make it complicated for us, or is he not? Because if he's going to make it complicated, take me out right now. But if it's something that works, if it's something that we can all understand, it's not something that's high concept. And
I think Scott has been pretty adamant in saying he just wants to stay in an advisory role.
Oh, okay, good. Say less then. Good.
He wants to help them guys. He doesn't want to. He said when it comes to show running, when it comes to being an architect, that burnt him out. So I don't think he's interested in taking that from Josh. Or taking that from Wade. Wade deserved this moment. Josh, obviously earned it, for the last few years. But
you in the classes still, right?
Yeah. I'm a terrible kid. I'm a terrible student. I pay for the shit, and I haven't gone to a class in maybe like 6 months. But it's there. I'll listen to the podcast, and I get some time. I plan on listening to all the lessons on my cruise in September, so I'll catch up.
Nah, bro, I want to make a soundbite of all the times you said you've been a bad student, bro.
Nah, real shit. Only time I really go in there, bro, and I'm terrible. The last time I really was in the Discord was when I first got the Kickstarter up, the Zoop up. I was like, hey guys, book here. Let me know what you think. But that's kind of my introvertedness, bro. Like I don't like the sides you guys see. It takes a lot for me to be this open with people, bro. Like I'm not just dry giving my comments or critiques to people, that I don't know, that's not gonna, receive it the right way or take it the wrong way or whatever. So I try to keep things, hey, how you guys doing? Quentin, and that's it. And I'll be spoken to. I'll speak when I'm spoken to. But no, just to tap in while I kind of get everybody's. I'm talking to this. Those conversations, like you said, those crossovers, situations. All I really want out of those situations, I really want us to toy around with the main characters meeting each other. Right? I don't care about Mirror Master, crossing over, all of those people, but I when it comes to the Trinity meeting each other, I want that to be an intimate conversation among themselves, bro. I want to see Clark talk to a Clark that got to live with Jor-El and Laura. You know what I mean? Like, I
Oh.
wanna see Bruce have that conversation where, like, Bruce was just recently broke, but he wasn't really broke. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he wasn't broke, but this Bruce is broke. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't got that much bread, and I like that conversation. I want to see what Bruce, like mainline Bruce, would react to a guy who's doing and having the gadgets and equipment that he has with less of a budget, right? Like,
I
and I
like
want
it.
to see, how Bruce responds to that when he gets back to his timeline, right? Like, damn, I spent all this money for this, and this guy who doesn't have half the resources I have, this version of me, is getting it out the mud. Now, yeah, he cuts niggas' hands off, but and he walks around with a battle axe. But I mean, like, yeah, he's a little more extreme than me, but for the most part, I think I could. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see Wonder Woman see a version of herself where she's the last Amazon. Cersei is her mother and not Hippolyta. You know, I think those conversations are what I want to see, right? Like, I'm really excited about what they could do with Ollie now, with that post from Scott. Like, what commentary, what angle you're gonna take. But I think those conversations need to be flirted around. They don't need to be, oh my God, Dark Side attack, we all team up. We've seen that 1,000 times. Like kind of let that breathe. Like AJ was saying, give me 3 years of them being separate.
Yeah.
Let's see if this gets old. Cause right, like, so, like, respectfully so, like, I love Absolute Batman. Don't get me wrong, but I did kind of feel like during the freeze arc, we kind of lost some steam, right? Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of the freeze design. If I'm just not glazing anymore, if I'm living with it 3 months into it, I really don't like the direction they took freeze in. But it's also me being somebody conditioned to seeing Batman animated series since I was 5 years old, right? And that's granted. I know who Scott Snyder is as a person, right? Like, his interests. I don't know Scott, but I know his interests, right? And his interests are very much horror bent, and I had to take that on a grain of salt. Like, and with Bane, I was worried about how Bane was going to look, but like, fuck it, make him a big ass Majin Buu. Fuck it, I don't care. But I like AJ was saying, I think we need to, if we're gonna have a crisis event, it needs to be 2 separate crisis events. That makes sense. One for the main line, or maybe you do the same thing you did with the All In special. Tell a crisis event that affects both lines, but it's independent.
Oh.
Right? Like, so if you do something like that, that could work. But I think Marvel's about to hit that wall with the Ultimate line right now, because with the success of these topics, these stories, that temptation to merge, like AJ was saying, is gonna always hover around them.
Yeah.
But do I really want my mainline Batman to be Absolute Batman, or do I really like Absolute Batman because I got the Batman that I got? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like,
no, I hear you.
A more aggressive Batman because I've gotten the Batman. I got a Batman with less baggage. I like, it goes back to what Joker said during the Endgame arc. The Death in the Family arc. Like, you are not the same person you were when we first started this tango. These kids really hold you down from being the best version of you. And you see that best version of him in Absolute Batman. And I think you can have that conversation, and then it'll spark that whole interest that we had from Gotham War. Like, I don't need you guys. You guys kind of hold me back. And then we can kind of have a different take on the reasoning behind him being more set off from the family. There's a lot to do with them being separate and playing off each other. That's why, like, that crossover really needs to be impactful and not just like a cash grab.
Yeah, 100%.
Not just a run of the mill. This is our yearly final crisis. Not the final crisis, but the kind of final crisis. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that kind of thing. Like, or a half-baked situation like Dark Crisis. Like, but like I said, I think that's the way you should go about that. I don't know how you guys.
Oh, but I mean, KJ said, "Yo, put Q as DC creative director, cause I go hold you, bro. You were cooking. You were cooking. You were
Appreciate you,
cooking
man.
with that, bro. No,
I know a little bit about a little bit.
nah, because I 100% agree. Like, and I think they have enough talent there for them to do a crisis that doesn't directly mesh the books together, but it can affect both lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that way, Williamson and them can still cook, and then Snyder and them can still cook, but it's still connected. So, like,
Like
the things that happen on, either side, it kind of reverberates, but not in a way that's like ham fisted.
like they need to learn from what's going on with incursions right now with Marvel, with Ultimates. Like, but because they're not on the same wavelength, Zeller and Kirkman. I mean, not Kirkman. Hickman
Oh,
and everybody
yeah.
else.
Oh, that book is ass.
You know, so I think we're learning what happens when you rush crossing these people over.
Yeah.
But I think Marvel's going to be the example for DC. That's why I said just take your time, and the work will be done for you. You know what I'm saying?
And dude, they're
Take your
seeing so
time.
much success. Bro,
Don't let the dollar bills blind you, man. All money, not good money.
all money's
I think-
not. And, no, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, you're on something here because it's like, bro, look at how successful these books are by themselves. By themselves, the books are successful. You don't need to rush into anything. And here's the best part about what you just said. Here's the best part about what you just said, right? Let's take it from your average comic book reader right now, right? Let's say I'm reading Absolute Superman. Cool. And let's just say they do this potential crisis right, where it's not the books meshed together, but like it affects both books, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is stopping that one person who's reading Absolute Superman from like, you know what? Let me go pick up that actual Superman book if they weren't reading it before. And vice versa, right? Let's just say I'm just reading Williamson's book, and then I'm like, oh, hold on, yo, I like the way they doing this little crisis thing. And then there's like, let me go pick up that Absolute Superman. You see what I'm saying?
Girls.
Oh, my fault. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. Yeah. So there's potential for both sides to eat, but in a way that's not hand fist. You see what I'm saying? So
all of that sounds great. I don't trust the people at Marvel not to chase dollars, man. Like,
you don't trust the DC people?
I trust them a little more, because like you said, like they're likely heading towards a crossover in the Ultimates, and that is not turning out to look like it's working. I hope the folks at DC don't do the same thing, because let's be clear, as soon as the mainline books dip enough, they'll go ahead and say, all right, we need to absolute crossover. And I really don't want that to happen. That's why I hope, we're going to get a little more clarity on both of these companies in a couple weeks with San Diego coming up. I'm just scared about the potential crossover. Like I said, this crisis that's coming up. I like Q's idea of having a single crisis and just seeing it through the viewpoints of both universes. Don't necessarily, smash the toys in the sandbox together at this point. Give us some time. Let the Absolute Universe breathe on its own. Please, I'm begging. Let the main line do what it's doing. It's in a good place right now. I don't think you need to do this. It would just feel like you're rushing it to me.
Yeah. I 100% agree, and yeah, I agree. We'll see what San Diego brings, and I think that will give us more clarity. But again, on even separately, I think both lines are doing good on their own. Like we got, King is killing it on Wonder Woman, love him or hate him. We got Matt Fraction that's on Batman, that's coming up.
Yep.
We got Williamson on Superman. We got the Trinity handled, and we got the Trinity handled on the Absolute side. Those are like your heavy hitters. So let's keep that good momentum going, and to go back to this crossover, I think with Wade and Williamson, you can do it right. I think Wade has more than enough under his belt, and I think Williamson has more than enough under his belt where they can deliver. And also, there's a creative we're not talking about here. There's a book we're not talking about here, and we know this book is gonna play a major role. I don't know if it has happened yet. I still have yet to catch up on it, but it's New Gods.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
New Gods. We were told right from Ram V's mouth himself. He said, at some point, we're going to be able to tap. Yep, we're going to be able to tap into the Absolute Universe with that book. So, if anything, that's your wild card there too. So, fuck it. I said Williamson and Wade. For all we know, this could be a good look for Ram V too. He could be in the mix. Like, I 100% suspect that, yeah, let's just say, they do this crossover or this crisis. Oh, best believe New Gods is getting a tie-in. Because it seems like this is going to be the glue that's holding it all together. I mean, it is the glue that's holding it all together. This is what New Gods spun out of everything that happened in the All-In special. So, best believe V is paying attention. I mean, wasn't there some Justice League members running around in that book like a month ago?
Last 2 months.
So
it's basically a Justice League arc, basically, that's happening right now.
So
because they basically come to Earth.
Oh, perfect. So there you go. So there's a lot of hidden players in the mix, and to close, like, this is why I always say it's best to let things play out. I know there's a tendency to want things on our time, but look at what's happening with the Absolute Universe and look at what's happening with the main line. I think both are in very strong places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very strong places. And yes, is Action Comics the best book right now? No, it's not. But hey, when DC finds that right person to take over Wade, cool. And I'm happy we have the time here. I wasn't gonna say enough. Yo, stop asking for PKJ to come back to Action Comics. Stop. Cut it out. Cut it out. PKJ.
That's just a testament to how good that run was, but yeah, it's time for somebody else.
Like, listen, yo, PKJ, he also helped bring the Superman line back to life.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, too, he's about to wrap up that story in Superman something L that's coming out in a couple months now.
Yeah.
So why you want him to come back?
Green Lantern story ties into that too. Now that I think about it.
Boom. So why you want him to come back to tell you part 4 or 5 of a story that's already done? No. Let Wade cook, even though we may not be feeling it, and then the right person will come and take over Action Comics after that. But overall, I think the Superman book, just the main book, it's doing good. I don't know if y'all read that Supergirl book, but from what I'm hearing,
I got the first issue. I haven't read it though.
Yo, the streets they like it. It's a little different, but apparently they're pulling deep cuts, and it's working. The style may not be for us, but it's a book that's working. And I know we still got to see what's happening with John, but I'm reading Secret Six. Secret Six is good.
I gotta catch
Yeah,
up. I gotta catch up
yeah,
on Super Six.
that's been stacking. I read the first issue. Said, all right, I'm gonna read it, but stuff past a few months or whatever. So I'll probably catch up on that, and I'll read that first issue of Supergirl this weekend. Decide if I want to get the rest of it.
But it's
Supergirl
mm-hmm.
is worth the read. I like. All right, I've never been. First of all, I just found out who Stephanie Williams was. Like I thought I knew who she was until I found out who she was on TikTok. All right.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
that's I think it's some chick named Campbell that's writing Supergirl.
Oh, so Sophie Campbell. My fault. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault. My fault. I know Sophie from her time on Ninja Turtles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so it's the only thing I don't like is that we're playing up a little bit of the stuff from the Supergirl movie. I mean, the Supergirl show. Like, I don't
Mm.
like the continuity of when she was a Danver, basically. Me personally,
right.
I'm not a fan of that era,
Yeah,
but
I never was either.
I think it ties back into that entire thing from Death Metal where every story has happened.
Yeah.
So I think you're just supposed to kind of look at it, take it with a grain of salt. Because there's even like there's moments where she's going through her different suits from over the years, right? The Matrix suits is in there. There's different playbacks, right? And but Supergirl first, I didn't get through issue 3 all the way. But issue 1 and 2 were pretty much bangers. I put those on nights for the daughter for when she gets older of age to read it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's a pretty book to look at. There's some thick bitches in there. For paraphrase my words. Um, but it's a fun read. It's not something heavy. It's not something it's kind of like Fire and Ice, the Fire and Ice book, right? Like the Fire and Ice book
Okay.
isn't like it's a slice of life book. There you go. It's a
Okay.
slice of life book. That's the best way to put it. It's not over the top bombastic fight scenes. It's a mystery going on like nobody remembers her, and there's this random Supergirl copy there. She's not Supergirl. It's just another character from like Andor, basically. But Supergirl's pretty. Like I said, I've been a champion of most of the All In stuff. Right? I don't think they honestly had too many misses besides Black Lightning, unfortunately. Um, and that's only a miss because of the choices they chose in the direction to take it.
Yeah,
But I also think, like I said about Black Lightning, like this kind of going go off a little bit. He's been prevalent in every book in All In.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he may not his solo book kind of messy, and he doesn't have whatever anybody on Twitter can say. But you see him in every book. He
Even
has a
Mr.
line.
Terrific.
Man, that's a issue 2
Mm.
was fucking great.
Woo!
Like,
Yo,
man,
we gotta talk about that one. We gotta talk about that one at some point, yo.
I don't know if so y'all, we can talk. We can have a whole episode about Mr. Terrific. If y'all want
We will. I promise you, we will. I
because
promise
I
you, we will.
really, I like the way they tied in. I wasn't a big fan of in Young Justice when they made. Well, I liked it, but I didn't like it when they made John and Jess like brother-in-laws. But then it kind of made sense because of Lynn's last name being Stewart. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. But in the case of Jess and Mike, it actually makes sense.
Mm.
They're the only 2 black people that are Olympians. All right, there are 2 black. They're both black men. They're both Olympians. It makes sense for them to know each other.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's who he would be hanging out with in the Olympic Village. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're both from like like Metropolis area or like big cities. Uh, so I love organic connections, if that makes
Yeah.
sense, right? So I think Mr. Terrific does a lot of that. But go ahead, we're going off a tangent. But
No. You're
there you
fine.
go.
You're fine. But yeah. So to close, like I said, the Superman comics are in a good place. We will see with Comic Con what is to come with this crisis, if we even get news of this crisis.
Uh, They're
Because
starting to tell us stuff about San Diego now, though.
yeah,
Uh,
so we'll
Probably next week, probably more
probably
likely.
next week, and then if not, that, then we have to keep a lookout for New York. So
Yeah.
New York that's also a big news one. So we'll see, and then by then, what we're in July, so 3 more months would have gone by then. 3 more months of solicits too. So we should be getting a good amount of news in the next like 2 or 3 months. But to close, this motherfucker Stef is in the chat. He couldn't make it tonight because of work.
What
But AJ,
up?
What up,
AJ,
Steph?
now that you're here, so I still have yet to put this video out, but
Oh, we do gotta do that.
we have to give. So we need your prediction for what could be the next absolute book. Eh, Oh my God, he's here!
The man
Oh
just
my
answered
gosh,
the
he's
bid.
here! He's here! He's here! Bro!
Hello.
Bro!
What up?
Bro!
What's up, Steph?
Oh,
I'm
what's
doing.
up?
How you doing, guys?
Oh shit, you made it, man!
Yeah, I mean, I know y'all about to wrap up, but you know.
Fuck. Oh, dude. Well, you know what? You could tell AJ what to do then, and then yeah, take it over, motherfucker. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So basically, I don't know if you remember, but what we did at one point, a while ago, it was like a month and a half ago. Basically, what we're doing is we are predicting what the next two absolute books are going to be, and for everyone that we get wrong, we have to spin a wheel full of different books that we recommend each other. Like we just put a list together, and then and then everyone we get wrong, we each individually have to spin the wheel, and then whatever it lands on, that's what we got to read.
Okay. Sounds good.
So it's 2-part question. So it's 1 part your predictions, and 2-part your suggestions, your recommendations for us to read.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, recommendations are just comics or any book? What?
Comic books.
Yeah, comics.
Okay.
It can be anything.
Maximum 50 issues. Don't.
Yeah, I had to
I
come.
think that's what
I
we
ain't
agree
gonna
on.
get on nothing that crazy. I'll pick some stuff that will piss y'all off. Predictions, hell, it would have been Green Arrow, but I think Scott's pretty much tipped his hand on that.
Yep.
Yeah, actually.
Wait, before you do that, before you pick your predictions, though, we do gotta like. So I got sent a message. I mean, I guess it was on DC updates or whatever, but the panel they're having at the angle for Batman, Absolute Batman, is supposed to be telling stories about other heroes in Gotham that are already active.
Okay.
I took the wording from that, so keep that in mind when you pick your prediction. Go ahead.
Okay. One of them I'll go with an absolute, and I'm saying Hawk World, but anything Hawks related. So Hawkman, Hawk Girl, like I said, Hawk World.
Oh, Q got that one.
What's that?
Q got that one.
Ah, shit.
Man, bro.
No. I mean, I don't think we ever said at any point that we can't have the same one.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't. Okay, fine. Okay, so
we
okay.
all pick Catwoman, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we all
right?
picked Catwoman.
Oh yeah. Your prediction was Catwoman. So Steph got Catwoman and Aquaman.
Yeah.
What
I
is
think
it?
Aquaman.
Q said he got something with the Hawks. I had Green Arrow and Deathstroke. Yeah. So now, okay. So AJ, you said Hawk, something with the Hawks, and then if you want to pick one more, go ahead.
So I think Hawks is supposed to be like my wild card pick kind of thing. So
yeah. Like none of these are probably gonna get picked. I want to say something with the League because like they're a fucking corporation now. How do you get to that? Nah. Let me see something Gotham related. Oh, all right. This isn't gonna be a book that gets written, but it's fun. So fuck it. I'll say it. Absolute Wildcat.
Oh, oh
Oh,
shit.
You know, that
Yeah.
crazy because I thought the same shit. I was going. That's something that crossed my mind too, bro. Because they did say something about the Justice Society was going to play a
Yeah.
factor in this eventually. So you
All
might
right.
be on to
So
something.
So now you got to give us 2 recommendations for books to
okay.
read.
Um, Castellucci's Female Furies.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all have fun with that one.
Okay.
Let's see what else. All right, that's the dog shit books. Let me find y'all. Let me get y'all something good.
What is on our recommendation list so far?
So we got the Fade Out by Brew Baker. We got Immortal Thor by Al Ewing. We have Sonic the Hedgehog up to issue 50. We got G.I. Joe Energon. We got Batman White Knight. We have Nightwing, Rick Grayson. And then now we have Castellucci Female Furies. And then we need one more.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
I
something. I'm
think
trying to think of something
didn't I?
good.
I think I swapped one for Nemesis, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
Oh,
shit! Nah, I'll give y'all. Okay, for my good one, and you said like 50 issues, right?
up to
yeah,
50, yeah.
max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Priest, Christopher Priest, Deathstroke.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
Give me an
Word.
excuse
It's
to
good.
finish the series.
It's good that Ro went through it again because I misremembered and I thought I said Hulk and I was gonna ask him to change it to Thor, like the next time we get on, but
Yeah, I
I
got
did
Thor.
already.
Word. So I'm gonna put that in, and yeah, that's a good reminder for me to put that video. I'm gonna put it out the next time Absolute Batman or something comes out, which will probably be before San Diego. I'll put that video out. Now it's good because now AJ is here, and I could just jam pack these two together.
Yeah.
Cool. This is perfect.
Do we want to do Marvel stuff or is that like a separate video?
We'll do a separate one because it's 12, and then I gotta go see Superman in the early afternoon, so
That's
I gotta
true.
get
Yeah.
going. But to wrap up, um, yeah, I'm excited for the Superman stuff. I'm excited to see what's gonna come of this crossover, and honestly, I'm just happy with where we are with the comics right now, man. We're firing off on all cylinders, but and it is that time for us to call it quits. Thank you guys very, very, very much for tuning in. I have all of our information in the description. I'm too tired to just go through all the pages right now to even get them loaded up. But thank you guys, much appreciated. Steph, I'm so happy you're able to make it, bro. Even if it was for like 5 minutes, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
Hell
first.
yeah.
This is the first time we've all been together in months, man. This should make me happy, dog. This
Yeah,
should
it's
make me
good.
happy, man.
Yeah.
It's good to be together with you guys again, for real. Um, but yeah, dog. So we will see you guys very soon. Um, yeah, because we have a lot more to discuss. But yeah, if not, if we don't get together beforehand, we will get together for the 1,000 sub stream. And thank you to everybody who tuned in. KJ, Aki. Shouts out to my homie Grayson. Shout out to Emmanuel. Shout out to Yark. Shout out to Mark. I feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, shout out to Iggy. Shout out to Patty. Shout out to Derpy. Shout out to all you guys, and even the people who are just popping in randomly. I appreciate you guys. But much love, much peace. It's your boy Roliver Queen, and we are out.
Adios.